I'm Sarah.
I'm Jake.
And we invite you to join us on the Gotham Knights Watch podcast for a weekly recap and discussion of the CW show Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights follows Bruce Wayne's adopted son and his unlikely friends who are accused of killing the Caped Crusader.
The world's greatest detective may be gone, but we will dig up any clues that we can along the way.
Help us solve this mystery and tune in to the Gotham Knights Watch podcast.
That was just another pointless sequel that didn't have to be made.
Okay, top two guilty pleasure songs. Vanessa Williams, Save the Best for Last. And I think it's
Vanessa Williams of Eraser?
Same one. Same. And also Walk the Moon with their song Shut Up and Dance.
Okay, that's more of a guilty pleasure.
Which one's more of a guilty pleasure? Shut Up and Dance is more guilty pleasure than
what's
Shut Up and Dance? Do I know that? Oh, yeah, right.
Immediately.
Yeah, no, that's like a bad song, but it's also like super catchy, so I kind of get it.
It's catchy as fuck. And people, when they hear it, they say, this song again? I love it.
Yeah.
Turn it up!
Yeah.
That's not the same for Vanessa Williams?
Can you sing a little bit of that for me?
Don't play it.
Don't
Sing it.
Save the best for last.
Sometimes the sun comes out in
Wait,
what is it?
June. Rain, June.
What the fuck does she say?
I
wanted to play. This is why I wanted to
Just
play.
play
it. Okay.
Take me back
Give me a
to
second.
8th grade
1993
school
or
dances.
something.
Hold on. Shit,
Do you remember dancing with a girl in middle school where your arms were like on her hips, but like this far out, and you were like trying so hard?
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like I don't remember dancing with a girl ever. I tried to avoid
I could see
the
that.
dances.
I could see that.
and really
Harris was like the beatnik in the corner smoking cigarettes.
honestly probably, yeah.
Like 6.
I remember my prom date spent a lot of the prom on a chair dancing with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
the sun
because
goes
of the
up
height
or-
difference. You mean?
I don't think you could play this song on our podcast. Can you? You're gonna get us demonetized.
I think you're allowed to play it if we criticize it.
It's for educational purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Parody.
Now you get
feel
the impression
very
of
educated.
what the song is like.
Yes,
I
yes.
miss when pop production was like as chintzy as that. When it was like the weird autotune flutes and shit, and
Yeah. It was like all synth classical instruments.
how like you would
and chimes. There was always like a bunch of chimes for some
for
reason.
whatever reason.
I fucking love chimes.
It makes
What's
me
that,
think of walking around like a department store when I was a little kid with my parents, and that kind of music would
it's
always
elevated
play.
like music, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what are your guilty pleasures, like guilty pleasures music, because I was trying to think of what mine are, and honestly they're all awesome songs, so I don't feel guilty about them at all.
Well, totally sounds like something.
Talk
you
about
would
yours
say.
because I have to think about it. I know I have.
Yeah,
some.
what are yours that you think are not?
Well, I was gonna say like there's some Britney Spears songs I really like "Toxic" for instance is like just the great.
Everyone loves
It's like
Toxic.
the greatest song.
Everyone loves
It's
Toxic.
it's not even a guilty pleasure. It's just like I only like the Britney Spears songs that are insanely good. You know.
It's a bop, yeah.
Tell me someone who doesn't like Toxic. by
Yeah,
Britney
that's-
Spears.
that
And
person has a
they're probably
problem.
toxic.
Yeah, I don't trust that person.
They should have guilt for not liking it.
Shame on you. Shame.
You know, the other day I was walking my dog and I was like, you know what I'm in the mood for? Late 90s new metal. And I just like I started listening.
Then you bring the
Korn.
soundtrack to the Matrix.
I found the best playlist. Yeah. I did it all for the Nookie. Do you guys remember that song?
Oh my god.
Okay.
Like I don't remember.
So here's my relationship with Limp Bizkit. I remember going to my friend's house in I think 7th grade, and he was like, "Yo, I got this new album. You guys got to hear it." And it was Limp Bizkit's first.
You showed up. He was wearing a
record.
red hat backwards.
Yeah, it was Limp
This is my
Bizkit's first
personality
record.
now.
Which is, their first record is so hard, and like Fred Durst's voice doesn't sound like the Fred Durst that you think of when I just said his name. And then all of a sudden, when they made their second album, that had like Nookie on it and like his voice just changed, and he sucks. He's like Limp Bizkit. That
You
whole
only like Faith?
Faith is from the first album. Yeah, that was great.
It was a cover the whole time.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what skyrocketed them to
I
fame.
know. Oh, I was there. I was there. You're talking to me about Limp Bizkit like I have no knowledge of Limp Bizkit, and that's wrong.
I know. But that's it for me. I really only know their first 2 albums. I don't know. I know they made like 8 more, but that's kind of when I grew up.
I feel like there's a lot of bands that made like 8 more that nobody knows.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like for me, like the guilty pleasures that I associate with my life are like, it's usually stemming from what did my parents turn on the car radio when I was being forced to be driven around by them when I was like 8 or 9. And my mom had a Phil Collins Greatest Of
I know one.
CD
Hold on.
that had both sides of the story on it. I just remember like being
Stop playing shit from your phone, Colin. We're talking.
remember being like really into it as a kid and being like, oh, this song is deep. It's about something. It's about not just one side of the story, but 2 sides of the story.
Yeah, I feel like that's like that. The parents' songs are like, because like the REO Speedwagon album, High Infidelity, is what my family plays. But here's the thing, though: if you listen to High Infidelity, it only has like one song that's kind of like the rock ballads that they became known for. Everything else is like just really rock and piano music, like piano rock and like guitars and shit. And it's like it's actually really good. So again, it's a guilty pleasure, I guess, but not really because that album fucking kicks ass.
REO Speedwagon has one of like the best album titles ever, don't they?
I just said High Infidelity.
No, you can tune a piano, but
you can't tune a fish.
It's got a tuna on the cover.
Yeah. Well, that was back when they were like
happened to
legitimately
humor?
just like a honky tonk piano rock band, like before they even did that was like the mid
They were
70s
an
stuff.
AOR.
Yeah.
band or-
Yeah.
You got to get the wagon up to speed before everybody gets on, you know? Do you guys remember Stepping Out by Joe Jackson? Do you know what that is?
Oh yeah, Joe Jackson's great.
Oh yeah.
It's the beginning of our new podcast where we all listen to Colin play music on his phone.
Bum, bum. Yeah, we all know this one.
Yes. That's not a guilty pleasure. That song's amazing. That's like on the soundtrack to Grand Theft Auto.
This just reminded me, for some reason, of the Paul McCartney Christmas song, which is not a guilty pleasure as much as a song that I
love that song.
passionately
It's my
hate.
favorite Christmas song. Oh, you passionately hate it?
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah.
One of the worst songs ever made.
Oh,
But
those
Christmas.
those are the worst songs where that'll get stuck in your head, and you'll end up humming "Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time," even though you hate it.
Yeah,
And then you just want to. It's like your brain is having a fight with itself.
you've been Christmas pilled at that point.
Yes.
Like,
You know?
all the other Christmas songs are either about like drummers or Jesus, you know? And like that one's just about having a good Christmas time.
Is it Wham that does Last Christmas?
Yeah,
that's-
Christmas.
that's a great one.
Gave you my-
That is a good one.
I mean,
I have to agree.
That's
I
a
mean,
guilty
I don't care how
pleasure.
many times I hear it. I still love "All I Want for Christmas Was You."
oh,
I honestly,
Mariah Carey version?
Yeah, they play it. They play it so many times at Christmas, and I'm never like, "Oh, this again." I'm always like, "Yeah, this is a good song." I'm
you're
into
not
it.
supposed to talk
That
about
is
it
what I
till
want for
November.
Christmas.
I have a new relationship with Mariah Carey after having seen Beau's Afraid. I don't know if any of
Oh,
you
really?
seen it.
I haven't seen it.
I won't say
she's in
anymore.
that? Oh.
She's not in it, but a song of
music
hers
is?
makes an appearance, and you will hear that song in a different light.
How was it? Because I love Ari Aster, and then I found out that movie's 3 hours long, and I was like, ugh, not going to make it out to the theaters.
And I heard
for
it's
that
like
one.
an anxiety-inducing, like
It's like a 3-hour-long panic attack. I mean, I kind of feel largely the same way about all his movies in that they're absurdly well directed and incredibly crafted and just like have so many ideas in them visually, and then they just completely shit the bed in the landing.
Oh, I think Hereditary is a masterpiece.
Me too.
That's the one that every time I watch it, I think it's even better than I thought it was when I just thought it was a masterpiece.
I've seen it just once, so I am curious about like revisiting that one in particular. But yeah, no, it's this one was probably my favorite film of his that I've seen. I think I felt the most connected to it. It has a unique tone that's like it feels like his first two movies feel more like they're working within particular like subgenres of horror, whereas this is like it's its own thing. And there's like things about it that like, oh, I can see pieces of this in it. I can see pieces of that film.
it's not scary though, right?
No, there's no like jump scares or anything like that. But like it is like an anxiety attack. It is
Okay,
like
okay.
really nerve wracking.
Like on
lot of parts.
put it in relation to Uncut Gems.
It's
Which-
a different kind of nerve wracking. It's like, how to describe? Like it's like the first big anxiety panic attack moment of the movie comes with like he leaves his apartment and he leaves his keys behind and they get stolen immediately. And then he's living in like basically Skid Row essentially. And so like 45 homeless people just ram at his apartment when he goes across the street and just completely take it over and like shit all over the walls and everything like that.
Oh my God.
So it's like that kind of a panic attack. It's like imagine what if Hereditary had that kind of a sequence. But it's also funny. Like it's and then there's really surreal weird things in it as well.
Yeah. Well, if you're just joining us, this is our podcast on Beau is Afraid.
Oh yeah. Well, why don't we get to the meat of this show and talk about a little movie called Gremlins 2.
A lot of people say Beau is Afraid is just a poor man's Gremlins.
I think the Gremlins made Beau is Afraid, honestly.
That's what it feels
I would
like.
not be surprised.
Harris, why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie?
Sure. I thought we were going to play a song, but...
It's there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Gremlins 2. So right after the first Gremlins came out, it was a huge hit, massive success, one of the biggest movies of the year. And of course, Warner Brothers was very excited to make Gremlins 2 immediately. They demanded it. And Joe Dante said, pass. He wanted to do other things. He felt like he had told a complete story, and he just wasn't interested in making a Gremlins sequel. But Warner Brothers decided to pursue it without him, and so for the next several years, they hired several writers to write several versions of a sequel to Gremlins. By the time they actually got a script they kind of liked, it was 1989, almost 1990, and Joe Dante had enough distance, and he said, you know what? I will direct Gremlins 2, but I want to be able to do whatever I want. Final cut, I want to be able to write whatever crazy shit in there I want. And he basically made the movie as a kind of meta commentary on not only the first Gremlins, but also sequels in general, media, consumerism. It spoofs like dozens of other films, references so many movies, and he got what he wanted. He got to make the movie he desired, which was this very bizarre, way more slapstick and comedic, less horror-driven movie that was very meta, broke the fourth wall in a few different ways, returned the principal cast of Phoebe Cates and Zach Galligan, and also Dick Miller, who the Futtermans are back somehow, even after getting run over by a snow shovel.
Sure, they died.
Yeah, and also adds John Glover most prominently, and also a bunch of other Robert Prosky. Yeah, yeah. As the credits come up, I'm just gonna yell their names like I thought of them.
Robert Picardo.
Oh, he's in this?
Yeah.
The Robert Picardo.
He's very good.
Christopher Lee. Yeah, it's got a couple of cameos by Haviland Morris, who I think we should talk about, and it's got a couple of cameos by like John Aston and Henry Gibson, and a few different, of course, Hulk Hogan, Jetty Watanabe, Key Luke. They put both the Asian guys in the same card for some reason at the beginning. Anyways, so this movie was exactly what he wanted. It was like, I think 4 times the budget of Gremlins, and it was, amazing, obviously. And everyone hated it. Nobody saw it. It was a huge flop. The critics didn't really like it. A lot of the critics didn't like the first one, but the critics didn't like this. The audiences didn't like this, and everyone was disappointed. It did. It always sold a lot of merch, but the movie was not successful, and everyone was a little depressed, and that's why there was never a Gremlins 3. Although they kicked around the idea for many years in the 2010s. And Chris Columbus actually had written a few drafts of a script for Gremlins 3, but they never got off the ground.
I think we will see a Gremlins 3 in our lifetime. It may not be called Gremlins 3. It might just be called Gremlins.
Yeah. Yes.
Gremlins 2024.
Yeah.
Well, there's
the requel. It'll be the requel.
There's the prequel animated series that's like it's imminent, right? Secret of the Mogwai,
Which looks awful. Like it's like
Yeah.
if that came out 25 years ago, maybe like a Saturday morning cartoon of Gremlins should have been made.
sure, but also like I think what's great about both the first two movies is that like there's just enough mythology and just enough rules that, especially with the sequel, like you can do bug nut shit left and right and not really feel like you're tethered to something specific, and it all sort of has its own logic within it. But now that like when I hear Secret of the Mogwai, I'm like, okay, we're gonna find out where they're from, why they are the way they are, Like,
Yeah,
what,
I don't want to know their secrets.
Yeah, like what's the deal with the water? What's the deal with eating after midnight?
Yeah.
Like who made those, indeterminate rules and stuff like that?
No, they have always been. They were there in the beginning, and they will be there.
No. I'm saying they were there in the beginning. I'm just saying, like, this show I think is going to go deeper and deeper.
I mean, we don't even know if there's any other Mogwai besides
but that's
Gizmo.
what I'm saying. I don't think it should go deeper because we just accept that it's always been this way.
Yeah.
I was agreeing with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. I don't. I think it's. I don't like the idea of meeting other Mogwai. The only Mogwai we ever know is Gizmo,
Right.
and his spawns, who are all inherently evil. Which
What does that
I got a
mean?
lot of questions about that. Yeah.
So before we go any further, yes, the movie we're doing is Gremlins 2, the new batch. This you are listening to Licensed to Watch. And joining us for this episode, our guest today is Mr. Josh Kadish.
Hello.
Joining us once again, hot off of his stint on Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, like 3 years ago.
A little latent latency there.
Yep. Well, welcome back. Thanks for doing
Did such a good job. We had to have you back several years later.
We had to have you back eventually.
Well, thanks for having me back. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so, I mean, God, this movie, shit. If you like the first one, I mean, how could you not like this?
Rambo.
Oh, yeah. This movie is so good.
I mean, I feel like I could answer that question.
It's
If you like the
about
first
war.
one, you
Got to
might not
become
like this
war.
because it's like way goofier and stupider and not scary at all. Like it's all comedy, not a lot of horror, and it's all like really high, like kind of highbrow metatextual jokes too, which weren't in the first one. Like it doesn't even take itself seriously, which the first one did a little bit. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I do like this movie, but I could see how somebody, if they were expecting more Gremlins type stuff, this is kind of a departure.
I remember as a kid liking this movie, but also liking the first movie and kind of knowing that, like, the first one was a vibe, It was like a scary kind of like little town, snowy Christmas, like, movie. There's not that many Gremlins. They all kind of look the same and, like, they're scary and they're vicious, whatever. This movie is like you said, way goofier, has a tone, it's not frightening, like the first one could be considered, but like,
Until we meet the Lady Gremlin.
Yeah, it definitely has its moments for a kid. But yeah, it's like so aware of itself and like goofy and funny and like just so out there. And there's like different kinds of Gremlins, and it's like as a kid you're excited to see like, oh, there's the goofy one. Oh, there's the vegetable one. Like there's just the electricity one. There's all these different kinds.
They push things so far with the science lab. Like we all grew up with the Ninja Turtles, so we accept that the ooze can like turn you into stuff, and the ooze is like made of something from a science lab. But like even this pushes things way farther than that somehow.
Well, that was partly. I mean, I'm sure the idea of the merchandising opportunities and the added toys of like the different goofy kinds of Gremlins was appealing, but also some of that was they couldn't get, what's the guy's name? Chris
Wallace, something like that.
They couldn't get him back, the guy who did the special effects in the first movie.
But they got
so they got Rick Baker, who is one of the most famous special effects people ever. Baker didn't originally want to do it because he didn't want to like just be copying somebody else's inventions. So they were like, no, you can do whatever crazy shit you want, make the Gremlins into anything you want. So I think a lot of the crazy Gremlins come from the idea of like appeasing him by letting him make the Gremlins new in some way.
Yeah, and so I think the big thing that people know about this movie is kind of what you were saying in your intro, that Joe Dante was allowed to go like full ham on this, just whatever. It's like he's well known to be, he directed like Looney Tunes Back in Action, I think is the movie. He loves the Looney Tunes and like cartoons from his childhood. And I think that comes across in this movie very much. I mean, this movie opens with the
Chuck Jones animation, yeah.
Yep, Bugs Bunny and Daffy
Yeah,
Duck.
brought Chuck Jones out of retirement to animate that.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of cartoonery, if you will.
Yeah, big time.
I love the opening of this movie. Like I watched this a lot as a kid, and watching it the other day, I completely forgot the opening, like the first 20 minutes of this movie, how the setup and how Gizmo comes back into the picture and all that. The rest of it I pretty much remembered verbatim. But
By the way, can I just point out the Clamp logo is the first hilarious visual joke in this movie of like the guy's company is called Clamp because the guy's name is Clamp, but the logo is the C in Clamp clamping down on the entire world and squishing it.
Yeah, like it's
so good.
It's not just that it's clamping the world; it's that it's slightly squishing,
it's deforming it.
but like not crushing it all the way, just slightly squishing it so it's oblong.
And then we get this high-tech building, which I don't know if you guys have seen any Jacques Tati movies, like Playtime and Mon Oncle, but it's very much like, it's like this future world where everything's built for convenience, but it's actually way less convenient and because nothing quite works
Everyone's
as it's
constantly
intended.
bumping into each other.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
like Brazil.
Yeah, same.
It's
yeah.
kind of thematically in the Gremlins, like the Gremlins are all about like how stuff doesn't work, like technology.
Yeah.
Like,
The Gremlins are about making things malfunction.
Yeah.
So having a building that's like fully automated is kind of the worst place for them to be.
is this are these all just sound stages? Like, is there a real building that they use to?
Are you asking if the automated clamp building
Can
is
I
real?
go to the Clamp building, please? Can I? Do I have to go to New York?
I love that they show Clamp's book and it like clearly looks like Trump's book. The
Yeah,
art
yeah,
of
yeah.
Oh,
his
it's
art
not
of
even.
seal
It's not even trying to.
Famous New York real estate developer who's totally full of himself.
Yeah.
I read that Clamp himself is supposed to be a mix of Donald Trump and Ted Turner, which
Right.
makes
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
The
especially with the cable
entertainment, like the
network.
media empire. Yeah.
I love this. Yeah, the technology in this is great.
Oh yeah.
This is very Brazil.
So much of it is like, okay, so you got like, electronically tagged ID cards that you have to wear on your person all the time. You've got like FaceTime conference calling. Like I can't remember what else, but there's like a lot in this that's very much like it was super futuristic then, and now it's like very normal. Like you couldn't like try to find any kind of corporate job where you're not going to have some ID card that tracks you.
The thing I think of is like, okay, like I accepted that they're giving us this like, a smart building, which they actually use the word smart building, which is kind of interesting. But then there's a scene where the security guard like pulls out a gun and starts firing it. And I was thinking like, it's sad, but like a smart building built today, like one of the first things would be like detecting gunfire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a bummer. I'm sorry.
They're giving him shit about having like this tiny little potted plant on his desk.
You will conform to the gray palette.
And what are these like red lights in the ceiling? I'm noticing.
It's set design.
Yeah, probably to highlight her red hair. Honestly,
Like he's got a Batman book on his cubicle shelf there.
Haviland Morris, the only other thing I know her from, does anybody know?
I know one thing.
She's
that
amazing
from.
in this though.
She's from 16 Candles. She plays the hot girl that she's blonde in that, and I think she's a redhead and everything else. One of two actors in this movie from 16 Candles, because the other guy is what's his name?
Getty Watanabe.
Yeah,
Right?
Getty Watanabe.
Yeah,
who
who
plays
plays
Long Duck
God,
Dawn.
yeah,
In that movie.
I know her as the voice of Corbin Dallas's mother in The Fifth Element.
Oh, she's doing the same voice as
right?
this.
She is. Yeah. Corbin, honey, what are you doing?
Yeah. Is that how she talks? It's so good.
It really feels like an affectation, but
There's Henry Gibson
Henry
from
Gibson.
Laughing.
Yeah, I was like, this guy looks familiar to me.
That's that one guy. I know that guy. I've seen him.
Laughing and
Blues
Blues
Brothers.
Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ton
The
of
Burbs.
ton of Altman movies.
Oh, in
Yeah.
Blues Brothers, he's like the Nazi, isn't
Yep.
he? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, well, The Burbs is another Joe Dante movie.
Yeah, with basically half this cast is in the Burbs.
He's part of John Day's kind of stock cast.
Yeah.
Because he's in Inner Space. He's in.
Yep.
He's not in.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
Inner Space too. Robert Prosky, we just saw, is the cowboy in Inner Space, which I love.
Right.
It's one of the only other roles that I know him in where he has hair, because he's really recognizable when he's bald.
Right.
But in Inner Space,
Prosky?
yeah,
We've seen Prosky in Christine.
yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I feel like maybe one other thing, too.
He's in.
He's great in this. He's got my favorite, like several of my favorite, like funniest lines in this. Like, you're having a psychotic episode. Thank you for sharing it with us. Then when they see Christopher Lee coming out of his lab, he's like, "Problem tenant. We are not going to be renewing your lease."
Oh, and we've got the guy who played Grandpa Munster
Al Davis.
as basically being Grandpa Munster.
Yep.
Or he's being like the guy who plays
And he's
Grandpa
got a
Munster.
puppet that looks just like a gremlin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Foreshadowing.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that it's like, you know, it's a building that has so many different things going on.
Yeah.
It's like a TV network.
Science lab,
Science
mall.
lab.
There's a mall in there, food
Yeah.
court. What else? There's like regular
There's an
offices.
escape pod later. He has
Is
like
that-
his
oh,
secret
yeah,
his secret back entrance.
I love that.
The best part about that is that he just leaves it open, so the other character just goes back
Right,
inside
yeah.
of it. Yeah, like he didn't think to press the red button.
Why
to
would he?
send
It's only
it
for
back.
him, you know.
Well, he plays like a
everyone
great
saw
dope.
him do it. There's even that one scene where it's just like a hallway full of doors, and everyone exits a door. At
Yeah,
the same
I thought
time
that was like
'cause the
was
fire
that like
alarm goes
apartments
off.
or something? I
Yeah,
couldn't figure
I
out what
think
that
there are
was.
apartments.
I think
in
there,
this.
yeah,
I
there's
think there's a
living
living
quarters.
area.
Yeah.
There's
Whatever
everything.
makes Clamp some money, you know.
One of my favorite things is when they show Clamp in his office. He's got like that corner office, like at the very top of the building. You could hear an airplane like going by.
That was great sound design.
Yeah, there's so many. It's all about the details in this. It's just wonderful.
There's so many details in this.
So
like,
many.
There's so much going on, and like, you know, they didn't even need to have as many extras as they do in shots like this. There's constantly people walking around everywhere. Like,
Yeah,
there's
look
like
how much
50,
background is
60
down the
people
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, there's like 2 floors of background in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel every dollar in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really feels real though. It doesn't feel like a set to me. You know.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like a real place either.
Right.
There's the Mr. Donut, and this looks like a clothier or maybe like a Sharper Image type store.
Much like the first movie, there was a big shot of like a Burger King in the background in the very beginning.
I didn't notice Tuco's sneakers. They are enormous.
Oh yeah, Tuco.
What
I did not know he was.
we should do top 4 of him, I think.
It's just going to be Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, right? And
that's only
Training
2
Day.
things.
And I
Right,
forgot she
right.
was in this too.
Oh, yeah, she's from Mad TV. Or no, it's SNL, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Pat.
Julie Sweeney.
Oh, she was Pat.
Yeah,
That's Pat.
Yeah.
that's Pat.
Oh shit.
Also, Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like for
Yeah,
1
yeah.
second, right? Christopher Lee. Oh my God, this movie's just
Christopher
excellent.
Lee is.
I love the way the lab looks. All this
Beautiful.
like red and white stripes and stuff.
Mhm.
Like it always reminded me of a
It looks like a
circus
kid
tent.
space, honestly.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee's part in this, like, isn't that good?
Yeah, well, he's supposed to be like a villain,
I know, but like, I wonder why he was so like
interested in
interested
doing this.
in this. Yeah, like
You know why? Because I
kinda like
think
his part.
Joe Dante is a lover of like old B
That's exactly
like,
what
horror
he likes in
movies.
this,
Yeah,
yeah. He's part of the
I think it's
Hammer and
I
all
think
kinds of stuff.
I think his name in this is Cushing Catheter. I think
Dr. Catheter.
Yes.
Dr. Catheter, but
Oh.
his
Dr.
first name's
Catheter?
Cushing, which is Peter Cushing was like basically another Christopher Lee
Yes.
of the
Dracula
horror
kind
scene.
of guy. Yeah.
can we do top 4 Raymond Cruz? It's all movies. There's no
Oh, you want to
TV on
you want to
here.
lead it?
Yeah.
All
Well,
right,
I've already
sure.
looked it up.
Let's get right
All
to
right.
it.
it's all
right.
movies.
It's all movies.
Oops, all movies.
Yeah.
Oops, all movies. All right.
3 of them are in the 90s.
All right, I got one. All right, should we let our guest
Guess
go
goes
first?
first.
Gremlins 2: The New Batch. Probably not.
Wrong. But your guessing is really good. You did the right thing.
All right, I'll say Alien Resurrection.
Alien Resurrection is correct.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Correct.
I was hoping someone would say.
I'm gonna go with Training Day. 'cause
Training
that's-
Day is correct.
That's the only one that I was sure about.
That is correct.
It's back to you, Josh.
Is it another 90s movie or?
Yeah, so 1992 and 1994 are the 2 that
I wouldn't object to starting the clue round early.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm gonna struggle a little bit.
Yeah,
Because he was like a bit,
Yeah,
actor. And
in everything we've mentioned, he's had a pretty small part.
Okay,
Can I get like a genre or something?
and
like
what
that?
year is this
I'll-
movie? 91?
This is
the
90.
movie from 1992 stars an actor who is quite famous for his ponytail.
So it's a Seagal.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay. I think I know what it is.
Oh man, I am not good with Seagal.
How many? I mean, like, what's a
Yeah,
Steven
just
Seagal movie?
Under
you know?
Siege
Under
2?
Siege.
Just think
Under
of
Siege,
3
Under
words.
Siege, okay.
Which one are you
Under
saying?
Siege 2?
Which
No.
one are you saying?
Under Siege 2.
Under Siege 2 is incorrect.
Wrong.
All right, Under Siege.
Under Siege.
Gave that one away.
That is correct.
All right. Let me try to think of a good hint for this one.
94 is the last one.
Yeah, 1994. And
This movie's 1990, by the way.
90, okay.
Gremlins 2.
1994, and it has Willem Dafoe.
Oh, this is another thing. Like the light goes off, the motion detector light that goes off to save
Right.
energy. I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
I was like, this was probably weird and a crazy idea when this movie came out, but now it's like find a building that doesn't have
Yeah. Now you go into a
most
corporate
power
bathroom
saver.
and you're
Yeah,
on the toilet for more than 5
most
minutes.
office.
It happens when I'm like taking a dump in a public bathroom, like all of a sudden it's dark. I'm like,
And you can't get up.
we said 1994 Willem Dafoe.
Yep,
Oh, Clear and Present Danger.
that's correct.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yeah, good
wow,
job.
what's his name? Raymond Cruz.
Yeah, he's good. He's in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He had a regular role on The Closer. Of course, he was Tuco in Breaking Bad and
And Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul as well.
Yeah.
That's probably what he's most well known for.
Well, for me, he's most known for
Alien Resurrection.
yelling, "I got my shit pushed in Training Day."
In Alien Resurrection, he gets his head like split open. I think he's the last one to die at the end. The white.
I thought he
half
died in the
alien.
underwater part.
No,
No, he's after that. Yeah.
he's the very last. Like they literally make it to the ship that's going to take them to
Yeah,
freedom.
yeah.
And he goes in the back to like check something, and then he looks up, and the thing is right there, and it just like rips his
I
head
think he's
off
even
or
making the
something.
sound "doo-doo-doo-doo-doo" when he goes back there to
But
die.
he gets killed by the one that has like the human
Yeah,
skull, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a distinction. You want to get killed by the grossest.
That movie's so good, even though it's really not.
Let's go back to your
very
score.
gooey movie.
Fucking
One of the
weird.
best gooey movies.
Yeah.
Speaking of gooey movies,
This one is.
This is very gooey.
very gooey, and I was gonna say in our Gremlins episode that one thing I wish about the Gremlins is that they were like wetter looking, like slimier. That's one thing that they
got
like an
your
element
wish.
they did not do. And in this one, they brought the slime, and they
Oh,
just
shit,
look
did
wet
they?
and slick and
On the
gross.
outside, on the inside, it's all
Yeah.
just slime and goo everywhere.
And Gizmo just looks so cute. in
cuter.
this. Yeah, he is cuter.
Yeah.
I think they made his eyeballs bigger.
Yeah, and they gave him like a dance number.
Oh yeah.
They like
He looks
simplified.
more
his
like a
look.
Furby in this one too.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Should we wait, or can we talk about him turning into Rambo thing? It's just so fucking funny.
Well, I mean, normally I like to skip the plot recaps these days, but I
Okay,
feel
yeah.
like this one's a particularly fun one to
Yeah,
do.
Colin, I think you should get on it.
Oh,
should
you
we?
want me
We'll
to
put
recap
2
the
minutes.
plot?
I'll put
It's
2
so-
minutes.
There's so much chaos. How do I like?
Matt, cue up the song. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and we're going to see how Colin does summarizing Gremlins 2. He thought he was off the hook. He thought we weren't doing recaps anymore.
I know.
But now all the recaps are going to be surprise recaps.
Yes.
Here we go.
So surprise, go.
Okay, so the movie starts out in Chinatown, where Robert Picardo comes and says, "Hey, we got to real estate develop this place. I work for the big bad real estate guy, and like, you got to get out of here." And it's the old man. He's like, "I'll never sell." Then they're like, "Oh, that guy's gonna die, so it doesn't matter." So then he dies, and they bulldoze his place, and Gizmo runs away. Some guy finds Gizmo. Cut to Danny and Phoebe Cates. They're on their way to work. They both work at this like mega future building owned by the real estate guy. Danny works in the like, he makes drawings for like the
Danny coming from.
Danny, that's his name.
Keep going, Colin. Keep going.
Is
Billy.
that his real name?
It's
And,
Billy.
like, the
No,
actor's
Zach.
name?
Zach
No,
or Billy.
Billy.
Zach plus Billy actually equals Danny. I don't know if you guys know this.
Okay, you got a
might be
minute
right.
left.
Okay, so Billy. Fuck. Okay, so Billy's there. He's working at the building. So is Phoebe, and she's like doing tours. He finds out that in the science lab, Gizmo's there. So Billy gets Gizmo out of the science lab. He brings him to his office. Meanwhile, the big boss talks to Billy. So Billy's female boss thinks that the big boss likes Billy. So she tries to, like, you know, seduce him. And that means Gizmo gets out and Gizmo gets wet. They make more gremlins. Those gremlins eat after midnight. Chaos ensues big time. Like, there's so much shit in the building that, like, stuff just goes crazy. They go to the science lab. They start drinking magic potions because magic and science are the same. And they turn into, like, crazy mega gremlins. There's, like, a hot lady one. She sexually harasses the Robert Picardo guy. Then they have this big plan to lure them all to one big room and then hit them with the sunlight. But then it rains. So then Danny's like, "Oh, there's this one." Billy's like, "There's this one gremlin who's trapped on hold because he's made of electricity, and we'll just get them all wet." Which they'll be into it at first because they'll think they'll make more gremlins. But then we'll electrocute them with the electrocuted one, and They just blow them all up, and I really didn't talk about a whole lot of things that are also in this movie, but they do it. They get out of there.
All right, 2 minutes 22 seconds.
Wow.
And you only skipped everything.
Spent a lot of time on the first 10 minutes of the
As
Billy,
usual.
Danny,
Billy,
Zachy.
Danny's.
got his name.
Self-returning opening door.
Couple of things. And I hate to inject logic into a movie that is so defiantly not
Why
concerned
would you
with
do
logic. Yeah. But I have to say that I think, number one, if you find out that this super dangerous Mogwai is being experimented on in a lab, I mean, forget about the fact that he wants to keep him safe because they're friends or pet and owner or whatever they are. Or secret lover. But once he rescues Gizmo from the lab, the next thing you do is go, hey boss, gonna have to take a long lunch and just immediately go home and stash him or something. You don't
That's
stick him
clearly
in
not the relationship with his boss.
I would
that's
be
been
like,
established.
well, geez, I hope you don't fire me, but I have to get the fuck out of here now. This is a number one priority. Also, isn't there shouldn't maybe somebody just kill Gizmo? Isn't that the most sensible? He only reproduces evil spawn who try to murder people and take over the world.
You saw his face when someone threatened to cut him.
Yeah.
How could you kill a thing like
Oh
that?
no, you definitely don't threaten him. Wait until he's turned his back on you. He's singing his song and then just chop his head really fast.
It's not a should you, shouldn't you. It's who is able to kill something that cute.
That's true. That's true. I couldn't do it.
I couldn't.
Probably had to be Christopher Lee, honestly.
I could throw him in a sack and drown him, but we all know that as soon as he gets into the water, that's just going to make things worse.
Oh God, that's true. But really,
I love her. She takes off her glasses and lets her hair down.
Oh yeah, she's amazing in this role.
it's Gizmo's fault here. I mean, he should have just stayed put.
Yes.
He didn't listen.
Yep. And you think he would stay put because bright lights. They definitely changed the light sensitivity in this movie from the first one. Because it used to be if the lights, they had to be in a darkened room.
Oh,
and in this one, they're under fluorescence all the time. And
when the other ones torture him by putting him in the copy machine, that should have killed him.
Probably.
That's a good point, yeah.
That is a good point.
I don't really understand.
See, this is why we shouldn't apply logic to this thing.
Where are they meeting here? Where he's it's the door of the ladies' locker room, and they're just hanging out.
It's probably the locker room that's just for the people who have to wear those hats, and they all just happen to be women. You know?
Yeah.
Someone was taking a shower back there. She had her hair up and everything.
Mm-hmm. And Billy pretended like he wasn't
doorway
trying to
in
peek.
between. There's a door. They could shut that door. They don't want to shut that door. They're flaunting themselves.
Oh my God, this movie! I just love. I'm admiring everything. Look at the door.
It's
the
just-
clamp logo.
Yeah, the fucking door is amazing.
Talk about some production design. Yeah.
And then all the different color folders, just that little detail. There's all this. Look how much stuff is on the desk. It looks like a real desk.
Everything feels real. Yeah. All right.
They hired real professional.
We all
production
clearly
designers.
love this movie. What's your least favorite element of this movie? Whether it's an actor or the acting in general, the music, the puppets, the silliness. What is it?
I think Zach Gilman is perfectly serviceable and, does his job. But I think for the sake of the first movie, his sort of shucks small town charm plays more into the plot, plays more into kind of the tone of it and everything like that. And in this movie, it's more he's just pushing plot forward. That's all that's happening with him.
Yeah.
There's not really much else going on with him and Phoebe Cates, but
I'm not sure Grandpa Munster is necessary at all.
Prosky, yeah.
I
like
it's
him though.
Fun, though. It's another crazy detail.
Yeah, it's
also
such an odd detail that it makes it great.
I think it leads to one of the best jokes in the movie, which is when Brainiac Gremlin shows up and
they do the interview.
They do the
Oh
interview
my
and he
God.
murders the other Gremlin.
I would say Brainiac Gremlin, the guy who got to do the voice acting for that must have been so fun.
Tony Randall.
Yeah.
That must have been so fucking fun.
Yeah. I guess mine would probably be the thing that's probably the aged the worst, which is the Hulk Hogan cameo.
Oh yeah.
I love the idea of the film breaking, and I remember in the theaters seeing it and thinking that was hilarious and not ever it was the first time I ever saw a movie do that where
Well, no, it wasn't because it does. They break the fourth wall like a couple times before that, I think, don't they?
Yeah, but that was the first time that I ever saw like a movie break the fourth wall like that.
Well, they had the Leonard Maltin thing where he's like
Yeah.
reviewing the first Gremlins movie. Then what I love also is like when they have the when like what's it called? We're having technical difficulties and there's like a card that comes up and it like has a picture of a gremlin on it. Yeah.
Oh, I love the evil gremlins like when they're still Mogwais.
Yeah. There's that one that looks like Edward G. Robinson. And there's like two with dumb eyes.
The crazy-eyed one.
There's
How did she not
like,
know that wasn't Gizmo? Whatever.
This guy.
This one's like Daffy.
Yeah,
and
this
then
one-
the other one's like dumb.
The other one's dumb. Yeah, the other one has dumb eyes.
Oh, the bucktooth guy?
yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's just on crack. You know?
Yeah,
the puppetry and everything is so much better in this
incredible.
movie. It's so good at every like I was trying to find like the shot that didn't look good, you know, and it's really hard to find. It's like maybe the one when Gizmo's like walking down the New York City streets and it's like obvious that it's a green screen, you know, it's like just him.
Or him when he's
Yeah.
dancing
When he's
earlier,
dancing
like
in front of the sign.
composites there.
Yeah, same effect.
Yeah, but it's still pretty seamless. Like the actual character animation is great. It's just the any kind of
And
blue
the
screen composite.
those twin guys, they're really selling it. They really look like they're looking at a little gremlin dance, a Mogwai dance.
Who is this janitor? Is he someone?
Oh yeah, it's John Aston from he's Gomez Adams.
Yes.
Sean Astin's father.
Yeah,
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I don't think I ever knew
Oh,
that.
they're related?
Yeah.
Wow.
really directly related. It's almost like he is the Mogwai that spawned Rudy. They got John
so they
Aston
just got
wet.
him wet and
Yeah,
then-
they just got him wet. He reproduced asexually.
And then of course Sean Astin 8 After Midnight. That's
Yes,
why.
8 After Midnight.
Yeah.
That's why he
is
looks
the
like
way
that. Yeah. Apparently the Mogwai are you don't really notice it that much, but apparently they're much bigger in this.
That makes sense to me.
When you can see when people pick them up, they're almost like teddy bear size, whereas in the first one they were like tiny. But I think that's a concession to making them more articulated because they were apparently very hard to operate in the first one.
when they're gremlins, like they also
they're-
look much
They're,
bigger.
yeah, they're big.
yeah.
Yeah,
and like muscular, They're like
yeah,
swole.
they're jacked.
They're swole. Oh man.
This also spawned.
Well, there's bars in this.
No, you
building
go,
as well.
Colin.
Sorry. Sorry, it just hit me.
Marble and bars.
Yeah.
And rebars.
This also spawned the Key and Peele sketch, which I love.
Oh, we
and
have to
is-
acknowledge that.
is the best.
I love it. It's in the movie.
I was gonna put it on before we did the podcast, but I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, we should have opened with that.
Yeah.
That could have been a cold open. I mean, we could still play it
I really wanted
and stick it in as the cold open.
Yeah, it's and take out our solid gold code open where we talked about I don't know what the
guilty
fuck.
pleasure songs.
Yeah, no, it's very good. It's very clever, and it points out all like the ridiculousness of this movie. And
Oh, I love that this is a subtle King Kong reference.
yeah,
Oh,
with the
shit.
airplanes
Yeah,
above
that's
him.
right.
Yeah, there's so much shit like
There's so
that
much-
that is
yeah.
so good that like they just have the like when the guy the dumb gremlin is drilling on him with the drill and he asks him is it safe?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Olivier.
little references to other movies. And then I couldn't tell if it was a reference to this, but I read a piece of trivia about it. But at the end, when they play the end of the world, when the cable program plays the end of the world thing, it reminded me, the footage that we were watching reminds me a lot of Soylent Green. Like the peaceful, fields and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But apparently that is a real thing that CNN has. They have an end of the world thing that's like, it's like announcing that it's the end of the world, but it's like peaceful and it's like find peace.
We
with
had a good
yourself, 'cause
run.
it's-
We hope that you enjoyed
we had a
life.
good run. We hope you've enjoyed life. Which I think is like it's simultaneously insane and yet
Look at this
also
fucking
really something you
restaurant.
have to have.
about
This fucking restaurant.
I knew because I hadn't seen this in a long time, and when she's like, "Oh, it's a Canadian restaurant," I was like, "I don't remember that." And then
The waiters are Mounties.
and then they show up there, and I'm like, "What the fuck are they at?" And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's a Canadian restaurant."
They're drinking
Is he drinking Jolt Colo and beer
and PBR. Yeah.
yeah, out of
out of a wine glass and a
a tree stump.
Is it PBR or is it PBR or is it Molson?
Yeah. Do you want another Molson, sir?
Yeah, and they've got the moose that's like actually obstructing their view in the table. It's like
and then the chocolate mousse.
Yeah, the chocolate mousse at the end. It's an
Can I get you an
actual
antler,
mousse.
sir?
Oh my god, so
Is
funny.
this like? Is this part of like her scheme? Like, does she think like this Canadian restaurant will make him feel like manly? Or
he's super polite, so she might think that he's Canadian. Maybe she just doesn't.
yeah,
She's like,
maybe.
he seems like he might be Canadian.
Yeah, he's from a small town. She doesn't know the difference.
Can I cut you an antler?
From
Who
Manitoba.
is the cut you an antler guy? I know I've seen him somewhere.
Probably,
he
probably
is
from a
familiar.
Joe Dante movie.
Yeah.
They all are. Like the security guard later, that's from The Burbs. Got a much bigger part in The Burbs. Can't remember his name, but
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. He's the neighbor. He's like their direct neighbor who is always, belittling Tom Hanks.
yeah.
And then this house set feels like the house from the first movie. It's got like the same kind of kitchen cabinets and tile and stuff.
Although they said they had a shitty apartment, and I got to tell you, New York, this is kind of nice.
Yeah.
looks okay.
Has 2 rooms.
Yeah, it's
Oh
got
my
2
God.
rooms. It's a big deal. Looks like a full kitchen.
Yeah, a tour guide salary.
Yeah.
And there's the Peltzer juicer in the background. Did you see that?
I didn't see that. That's a good touch. That's clearly not real corn.
What are you talking about? He ate it right in front of our eyes. Come
He's
on.
got a little Sam Jackson and Jackie Brown goatee thing, or chin thing going.
Where his little hats to go with it.
He needs a tiny Kangol hat.
Man,
Okay, I love this detail. That there's like a beautiful
dog.
golden retriever who
Yeah.
looks completely groomed and everything like that, eating trash.
Yeah.
And no one is claiming it.
And it looks like his dog from the first movie, doesn't it?
You're
yeah,
right, it
yeah.
does, yeah. He does have a golden retriever in that.
I thought he was gonna go up to him and be like, "Hey, Fido."
Hey,
or
Cisco,
like whatever.
Barney.
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 Hey, Barney. Oh, he's
Yeah,
got
that's kind of my least favorite thing is that they didn't bring back like really anyone from the first movie aside from the old man. What's his name?
Futterman.
The Futtermans. Yeah.
Well, I heard they were supposed to have the dad, and they just had too much movie, and everyone was like, "It's too fucking long."
Yeah.
Also, everyone probably hated the dad.
See, that's the juicer right there next to the little guy. Yeah, and they also like they look they still have him getting squirt with shit. That's like the role that the dad filled in the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the toothpaste.
And there's a lot of
We all
like-
become our parents.
Oh my god.
He's wired.
See, I would have no problem throwing this guy across the room.
yeah. I think they should definitely decapitate him just because.
Does this one turns into like a gremlin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they all do, except for Gizmo.
Well, because this one gets separated from the other ones, so I don't remember how he get.
They have to go
They're
back
going
to
back
the
to the
office.
building,
yeah.
yeah.
He pops out of a giant pot in the microwave kitchen
Yep.
set.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, which is full of boiling water, but whatever.
I think at that point it's like
Once it's
broth.
chicken
Yeah,
stock.
it's got- yeah, I got some chicken stock
is
in there.
not water. Okay.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't matter because like 5 seconds later is when they get doused with
Yeah, the
water.
sprinkler.
anyways.
It's got to be pure water.
Right, because
though.
he
pure
sets out the
water.
fire.
I feel like-
blows out the microwave in that
I feel like fire sprinkler water is not pure water.
Well, it doesn't have to be pure. It can be chlorinated, or it can have a little fire
or
sprinkler
just
in
have
it.
like a lot of shit in it.
Yeah.
They do
A
jump. They
little
jump in the pool in the
sediment.
first one, right?
Yes.
At some point, yeah.
So like let's say you had chicken stock and you had water, but the water is actually so dirty, it's like lake water or something, that it actually has less water content than the chicken stock. But it's still water, so that's gonna reproduce with the gremlin, but not the chicken stock.
Colin, you know who you remind me of? All those people in the security center that don't listen to Billy and get eaten by gremlins because they're asking a bunch of fucking stupid questions.
That guy gets his face eaten off, right?
Yeah, just for trying to be the actually
What if
guy.
you're on an airplane?
Well, actually, what if you're on an airplane eaten by gremlins?
Isn't it always after midnight somewhere?
It is a good point.
Or they change time zones.
All right. Who is your favorite gremlin and what's the best death in this movie?
I think the Brainiac is the best gremlin.
Yeah, Brainiac.
And I think the best death is the Shredder.
Oh yeah,
Shredder's so nasty.
Shredder's good. Shredder's good. I like the gargoyle death too. I think that's
that
my-
was
Gargoyle
amazing.
Death's
my-
pretty good. It
probably
doesn't
my
really make
runner-up.
sense, but I do like that.
Yeah.
No, it blowing out of like crashing through the wall and,
And making
the
the bat
Batman
symbol.
logo.
Yeah, the Batman
that makes no
symbols.
sense.
It's all very dumb.
I did, Matt. You said your favorite gremlin was the lady one, right?
No, he said if he had to fuck a gremlin, it would be the lady. Well, I think that's like he kept on saying it like that, and he was like, if you're gonna fuck a gremlin,
I actually chose the spider because of that ass though.
yeah.
The spider is pretty cool.
This is alarming. Watching his stomach expand. Oh my god!
And is this redheaded woman at the counter right
Yes,
here?
I've
she's
seen
somebody.
her.
Is she not the woman from Speed 2? Was she like
Speed.
No,
She's
I
in
don't
a
think
lot of
so.
stuff.
No.
she wasn't one of the people?
Cruise Control.
We just watched it recently.
I think
I'll
it's
try to
Also
look
starring
her up.
Willem Dafoe.
You got it
If
on
you
your
give me a
brain.
minute,
She's definitely
yeah,
in
Willem
things,
Dafoe's
though. I
in
feel
there.
like she's been in stuff.
I'll try to look her up if you give me a minute because it's going to be hard to find her.
I like
Okay, go for
these
it.
spinning doors, like someone's always stuck in them.
Yeah.
Oh, all the '90s looks in this. Just
I also love the announcements that happen.
Oh, the
like,
PA
for-
system is that's
yeah.
one of the best running.
oh
for
yes.
all your entering and exiting needs, and then when it's doing the the fire,
Fire, the untamed element.
yeah. This building. That's right. This building is now on fire.
Leave now.
That's the fire alarm. Fire, the untamed element from the beginning of man's existence.
Oh my god.
Oh, now we get to the overreacting security guard who comes in guns blazing.
And
he really pulls that gun quick.
Phoebe Cates is like full on in her like Drop Dead Fred look.
Yeah.
Like I looked at her in this movie and I'm like, oh yeah, Drop Dead Fred is a thing that exists.
Yeah, probably around this, probably just before this sometime.
I think it was
imagine.
right after this. I was trying to figure out what her last movie was before she just got married to Kevin Kline and then disappeared into the
I
ether.
always forget about that.
Yeah.
Did we do Phoebe Cates last time? We did, didn't we?
I think we did,
Top
yeah.
four. Who should we do
Because
for
we
top
talked
four?
about Drop Dead Fred then.
In this we could do Clamp, what's his name?
John Glover.
John
yeah,
Glover.
John Glover. I looked him up.
1991 was Drop Dead Fred, so you're right.
Right
Right,
after,
after this.
yeah.
Okay,
She was on a roll. Gremlins 2 and Drop Dead Fred. It's no wonder she stopped working.
The yogurt stand woman, her name is Patrika Darbo, and she's been in a lot of stuff, including The Burbs, Rango, the animated movie.
Edward
Babe.
Scissorhands? Was she one of the ladies in Edward Scissorhands?
I believe she may have been. Hold on, let me look at her full. She was on 505 episodes of Days of Our Lives.
Jesus
which is
Christ.
pretty impressive.
But she's not in Speed 2 Cruise Control.
But they are
Let me.
but they air several.
That's all I want to know.
I feel like they air several episodes a day. Just it's because it's plural, Days of Our Lives. 2 eps a day. They're just recording them constantly. All the actors have to live on set.
the eggs don't look as good as they did in the first movie.
No, the eggs in the first one look great. All a little
But
derivative.
these are wetter though.
Yeah, they look more like
Gooey.
boogers. Yeah.
Oh,
They-
Mimes. Bring out the mimes. It's a bus full of mimes.
I love that. And I think that guy just gives us the finger. Can you go back, Colin? I spotted it twice now.
Yeah, fuck you.
For a movie that's supposed to be like that's trying to just they wanted to go back like 5 seconds. Not
Well, we went back
not
30
to another
seconds.
part of the
That's what we
movie.
did.
I'm going to try to pause it
Oh God.
on that exact
What you're
spot.
listening to, folks, is a lot of stupidity.
How do you pause this? Yeah,
We're
great.
going to try to pause it to see if a mime is flipping off the camera.
The mimes thing is hilarious though. Like,
Yeah, he,
Just
he
like-
kind of did. You're
No,
right.
right here, right here. Boom. Did you
Oh
see that?
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You're right.
okay, but like, so they were like planning to make this film, and they're like, okay, they're gonna be exiting the police station. Oh yeah, let's get a what's the not racist term for paddy wagon?
Is paddy wagon? Oh
Is
yeah,
that a
that's
racist
good
term?
point.
Yeah, it
Oh
is.
yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, we'll have a paddy wagon, and we'll have a bunch of mimes come out, like 10 mimes, and it's like, okay.
So this shot is just them exiting the police station, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how do we make it more expensive?
yeah.
We need 20 extras.
How many mimes can we hire?
But like, when have you ever seen more than like 3 mimes in one place ever?
I got a mime guy, so yeah, anytime I want.
Anytime I want.
I was born in a mine commune, so
I
was born in a mine commune.
I didn't say my first words till I was 16 years old.
God, I watched this movie so much as a kid that like every shot almost, like certain ones are just burned into my brain. Like all of a sudden it cuts to a certain thing and I'm just like, oh my God. Look at how gooey that is.
oh yeah.
It looks kind of delicious, though.
It's like applesauce or something.
Yeah. Did Nickelodeon did they just take over the extra slime from this? And
Yeah, we could use it. We'll use it for something.
Okay, I finally found out. Speed 2 does have Patrika in it. She is in Speed 2. That's
Wow,
correct.
good call,
Fucking
Matt.
nailed it.
Good call.
She's the one in Speed 2. Remember, I was like,
name is Ruby.
I thought it was Mimi from the Drew Carey show.
Oh, yeah, right. Yep. Yeah, she's got that look.
Microwave Marge later on. She's been in a lot of stuff too.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
just had her on
Just a little
Naked
bit of
Gun
Sherry.
3.
Yeah, Naked Gun 3. Yeah, just a little sherry.
Just a little. I like to put a little more cooking sherry in.
Drinking
some
cooking
people like a
sherry is
little.
not
I like a lot.
super.
Good for you.
It doesn't taste that good compared to like any wine ever.
I never understood why the flashlights look like that, and now I realize that they're the shape of the building,
Oh yeah, for sure.
just like the hats.
The production design is so detailed, so detailed.
Yeah, it's really great. Look at the hats.
This has got to be just a massive set.
But do you think to get all those mimes, do you think they had to go outside Manhattan?
No,
They had
no.
to go to Mime
There's
Hatton?
probably outside of Paris, Manhattan is the mime capital of the world.
But does that still mean more than 10?
Oh yeah, no, there's lots of no.
Do you think this movie was actually shot in New York?
I don't
The-
know.
Oh, parts
yeah.
of it definitely were.
The
like-
Times Square
yeah.
shot's real
Yeah.
Times Square.
Yeah.
The real question is, did they use every mime that they cast? Because a mime is a terrible thing to waste.
Oh yes, yes.
But you should always befriend a mime because it's good to have a mime on your side.
Oh yeah, it's mime over matter, really.
This scene is great. So he's like in the what do you call this? Like the security headquarters,
Yeah,
like
security center. They got all
Command
their
center.
command center.
surveillance.
Yeah. And he's trying to convince everyone.
Numbers just moving.
Yeah. He's trying to convince everyone that there's gremlins in the building, and he's explaining to them the rules. And of course, everyone thinks he's insane.
Bug nuts.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about it is he has to explain what gremlins are to so many people, yet so many times in the movie, everyone knows what a gremlin is already.
The archery channel.
Yeah, he breaks the arrow. Yeah,
The archery channel. Yeah, it's like a whole channel dedicated to it.
This is our first appearance of Kitty Watanabe as the cliche Asian guy who loves to take pictures of things.
I am a camera.
I love that line.
Yeah,
So good. That's his only line, isn't it?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, he says some random stuff, like
Later.
when Phoebe Cates is trying to like get him out of the
Oh, okay.
the room when they're being attacked, and he won't stop taking pictures.
It's very like tacky futurism here that like the cooking show is about cooking things in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the stuff like
These
she's
bologna
not a
and
good
bean
cook.
dip
Yeah.
roll-ups.
She's putting cooking sherry in bean dip.
Well, look how many microwaves she has behind her too. It's like there's a shelf of microwaves.
And
It's so great.
back to the metatextual thing, like this sequence in particular, and the sequence where they bring bug-eyed gremlin home. Those feel like complete references to the first movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which that's probably the scariest sequence in the first movie, right? When the mom's
Yeah,
attacked.
the
and-
kitchen.
comes.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
the kitchen
Yep.
attack.
Yep. And of course, the probably the most famous reference to the first movie in this one is Phoebe Cates going, "Lincoln, oh, something terrible happened to me on Lincoln's birthday." And
To me, like the 3 or 4 minutes around, like right before she does the Lincoln story, is like my favorite part of the movie. You got like the spider gremlin, then Gizmo becomes Rambo, and then she tells the Lincoln story all in the same like 4 minutes, and it's just that's the peak of the.
it's a
film
good
to
run.
me.
It's a good,
Yeah.
good stretch of.
Good stretch.
Should we do John Glover's top 4?
Yeah, we're at that point.
I'll
Sure.
cue it up.
I feel like he's one of those guys who's been in so many things, and I'm not going to be able to remember more than a couple.
I know he's been on a Patreon episode before for sure.
And he's been in a main feed episode.
Yep.
too.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready.
All right, guess goes
My turn?
first.
Okay. Batman and Robin.
Great guess.
That's a great guess. It's a really good guess, and it's wrong.
Oh, man.
I wish I could give you some kind of credit or points, so I will
that's
because
crazy.
there are no
That's some
rules.
nonsense right there. Best performance in that movie, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You always said Bane was your favorite.
There's one right there. He squirts her.
Yeah.
There's so much squirting in this.
He's basically is he playing the same part as this movie in Batman and Robin?
He's a mad scientist.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's a man.
He's playing like Christopher Lee's part, basically.
Yeah.
In the jungles in like Bolivia or something like that.
Yeah. Oh gosh, John Glover. God, I know he's in so many things.
You don't remember the?
Oh, I don't know this movie.
Can you name the film, please?
Gremlins 2: The New Batch.
Gremlins 2: The New Batch is correct.
That is correct.
I'm gonna go with Payback.
Payback is correct.
Oh.
That is correct.
What is Payback?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Okay, I thought.
But is he in Payback straight up, the director's cut?
He's in. I think he's in both of them. Yeah.
He would probably be in.
Is that one of those movies where the director's cut is like a completely different movie?
Yes. Yes.
Famously, yeah.
And good, but I actually like the studio one where they.
It's a remake of Point Blank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Point Blank's great.
Yeah.
I need a hint.
Okay.
It's my turn, right?
So one of these movies is a holiday movie, and
Oh yeah, that's the one where he's playing basically the same character as this.
and the other
Added
is a movie I have not seen. So I'm gonna kind of look into it a little bit.
What era is the holiday movie? Same time period as this, or
1988.
1988?
Yes, we've talked about this before.
Yes, I actually have already given a hint for this movie when we first started, when I said that he's been in a Patreon episode of ours.
It's not Scrooged, is it?
Scrooge.
Oh, okay.
Is correct.
Certainly is.
That is correct.
All right, this last one is from 1994. He plays a character called Saperstein, and the synopsis is an insurance investigator begins discovering that the impact a horror writer's books have on his fans is more than inspirational.
I think I know what it is.
Oh,
It is In the Mouth of Madness.
In the
Carpenter.
Mouth of
Wow.
Madness is correct.
That is
Job.
correct.
Heard of that really, but
Is that Clive Barker?
No, it's
movie?
No,
it's
it's
our
it's a
boy
Carpenter movie.
it's
John
Clive Owen.
Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
Clive Owen.
Clive Owen.
It's John Carpenter directs and
It's a Michael DeLuca script. It's the guy who
yeah,
is now like
runs like some studio or something, right?
runs MGM, I think now. Yeah. He was a big part of New Line when Freddie was first starting and everything like that, and then became a screenwriter for a short time, and then became
That's the
an
way to do it. And
executive
then decided to become rich instead.
Didn't he have like an infamous
yes,
thing too?
Sex tape?
Yeah,
Thing.
not a sex tape, but
A
a
sex thing.
something
Like,
at a party.
he would be canceled today if
Yeah.
that happened.
Fully. But he's also kind of a patron of art. Like he produced Boogie Nights. He's kind of a pretty important executive.
He gets a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've walked past his office many times on the Sony lot. I remember seeing his name.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay.
But yeah, the movie's great. Sam Neill is the star of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a fucking wacky movie. We
Sam
should
Neill? Isn't he the star of Jurassic Park 3?
and the first one.
That's good. That's what I know him from.
Of Jurassic Park 3 fame?
He's also in the first one. There's a first one.
Exactly what I was.
And Jurassic World to Dominion, right? Like,
This shot right here of John Glover in his office, just like he's a classic like CEO like has nothing to do.
He's bored because he's too rich.
Yeah. But like the music is really like kind of eerie here, and you hear the airplane. Like I just remember
see the clouds.
watching
He's
this
way
on
above them.
VHS. Yeah, the clouds exactly. Like how high up is he?
I love how much Atmos is in the air every time
Yeah.
he appears.
Yeah.
Look at the chairs.
They look very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, let's do some
Some
memos.
memos. Have you finished shredding yet for the day?
Yeah, what's she shredding? Like all his like dirty like.
Love that she has just like a giant sub sandwich here too.
Now, is she killed by the mousetrap sandwich?
No, that can't kill you.
But
Well,
she disappears.
I know it shouldn't be able to kill you, but she
No,
gets a
the-
mousetrap in her sandwich.
The
It's-
gremlins kill her after they mousetrap her sandwich.
Maybe there's arsenic on the cheese that's on the mousetrap.
We see her pick it up, so it doesn't snap on her hand. I assume it must snap on her face. Maybe she rushes off to the bathroom to seek medical
Yeah,
treatment.
where the gremlins kill her.
Yes. But she is gone. She yells, and then he comes out, and she's
She's
been
unconscious
replaced.
from blood loss.
from a mousetrap.
It split her tongue wide open.
And this guy looks like
You don't need a
the
tongue.
Brainiac gremlin, but he's not.
Mm.
He's got the same kind of like look.
I mean, essentially, they all have similarities.
Well, but they're very specific and distinct looking in this, which I love.
Yeah. But yes, Secretary Gremlin and Brainiac Gremlin, maybe they're related. Maybe one of them
Like,
spawned from the other.
Throw some glasses on this guy, and he's
Mhm.
Brainiac. John Glover might be the MVP of this movie.
He's really good.
Yeah, John Glover, or I really do think Robert Prosky has the best jokes, and because he's such like a. Oh, also, he's in the last scene too, because he's got the sexy lady gremlin that
That's not John
is
Glover.
Miriam.
That's
Or,
Robert Picardo.
Robert Picardo.
Robert Prosky.
Robert Picardo.
Picardo, that's right.
Yeah,
Stop getting his
Prosky
name.
is the vampire,
Right.
The Dracula guy.
I mean, like Harris,
I thought that was Al Davis.
Harris, you obviously don't know this, but Robert Picardo is like one of the stars of
my
Star Trek
God.
Voyager. He's like in every episode. He plays the Doctor.
I did not know that, and even after you telling me, I still think I don't really know it.
Yep, Robert Prosky is the Dracula guy,
Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
and he's also from Christine
and Thief
and Thief. Yeah, and he's like,
and Mrs. Doubtfire.
that's what it is.
Yeah,
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 I was
yeah.
thinking like Home Alone. No, it's not that. It's
That's Robert Picardo,
Yeah.
who's also another Joe Dante stock guy.
what else is he in? And
He's hilarious in Inner Space.
I wonder if that's
he's the guy who's from Star Trek, right?
Yes,
Is that what you're
that's
saying?
what I
Yeah,
just
yeah. Well, we had some confusion with
I made
names
such a
there.
big point to say it.
There's a lot of Roberts here. Okay,
I wonder if he's wearing a rug here.
He is. He's
Because
bald.
he's very bald in
he's
everything
bald.
else he's in, except for Inner Space, where he's obviously wearing a
Unless
like,
this
big
is like
wig.
the last thing his hair ever
Yeah,
did.
because it looks a little thin, but it's hard
His
to
hair
say.
retired after
His
this.
hair
movie.
definitely retired after this one.
He's definitely more recognizable.
it's actually
bald.
Shatner's piece.
Yeah.
he was it was on
He
loan.
borrowed it.
We could have had 3 shrinks and a plastic surgeon in there, but
He,
no.
he is one of my favorite parts of Star Trek Voyager. He plays like a hologram, like
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
he
yeah.
like knows he's he's like sentient.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Jesus.
You get
I forgot how she gets out of the elevator.
it crashes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't
Million
kill her.
gremlins get smushed.
Yeah.
And then 2 women just leave her. They
Yeah.
just
I don't
ignore
like
her.
how big the arms are.
Yeah, they are
Very
they're
scary.
jacked. Yeah, these gremlins are strong.
Yeah,
They're
so
working out.
It's New York water.
There's like in this shot, in this scene coming up, when it starts going really fast, you see like an arm that's just like dangling by a thread. Yeah, I'll show you. Guys.
I know you're talking. Yeah, I
And
noticed
then
that too last night.
I see that same arm later on in the movie, like somewhere else. If you look carefully, there's one shot that drives me nuts. It's like at the end when they show like kind of the sweeping chaos.
Right there.
There's
See
the
it, yeah.
arm. See?
Oh, yeah, it's dismembered.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
the
That's
splat when the
awesome.
elevator.
Maybe
hits
that's
the
actually the
ground.
best kill in the movie.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
That's
good
like
one.
that's like maybe 10 gremlins that got killed in that.
You'd think she'd be a little more not healthy.
I think the squishiness of the dead gremlins actually like
They're
cushions
very
the fall.
sponge-like, you know.
Yeah.
I think we're coming up on the
Look
film.
at this room. Oh, this is his office again, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at that thing in the background.
Yeah,
that's
the-
like
the
a
man-shaped
silhouette of a
silhouette,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be his silhouette, I would imagine.
It must be like 10 feet tall, though.
It's a clamp. It's a giant clamp.
It's a giant clamp.
Yeah. Oh, so the shot I hate is the sweeping chaos of like all the gremlins in the lobby, like going nuts.
Oh,
And
there's
then-
one gremlin that doesn't move, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that kills me.
I knew you. I saw it immediately because it's. You know what the problem is? It's center frame.
Mhm.
It's not left or right. It's not frame left, frame right. It's center
Your eye
frame.
goes right to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
How do they
Got
make that
the-
mistake?
Got the Leonard Maltin gag, which is very funny, and I think it's funny that he did it. You know,
Because he famously like shit on the first movie.
yeah.
It's probably like he's doing a direct quote.
They just pop up behind him. They're giving him bunny ears.
Yeah.
I like how he's like, as he's being strangled, he's yelling, "I was just kidding. It's a 10. It's a 10."
Velcro 2-for-1 special.
Wow.
That's a deal.
Yeah, I mean we're fully in the chaos of Gremlins 2 at this point.
Completely forgot about this, that he's literally torturing Gizmo by ripping hair off.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
this is, for me, this is the part that kind of, it's like the fun and games part, but this is where it really is weaker than the first movie, because I feel like this goes for a long time, and I don't know that it's a lot more misses than hits. I feel like Gizmo is not terribly involved. He's just being tortured. I don't know.
I mean, we just saw a tomato that bounces on screen. So.
That was just one of my favorite parts of this. Honestly, Vegetable Gremlin is both the stupidest gremlin and also one of the cooler ones. I just like this effect of the little vegetables
Tomatoes.
popping out of his face.
He's kind of. I think he's pretty disturbing to be honest.
Yeah, he's pretty creepy.
Yeah, like if I were to choose to be killed by like just like a regular like base level gremlin or be killed by a vegetable gremlin, I think I'd be.
What is Christopher Lee?
I'd be
bringing
more
in?
scared.
It's like a
to be-
pod.
It's
like
a cephalopod. Yeah.
It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I think I'm more scared of vegetable gremlin than like a base gremlin.
Then, oh yeah, but not as scared as like Spider Gremlin.
Oh, God.
I like that the twins each have like a glove on, like one has it on his
Opposite
left hand
hand,
and one has it on the opposite hand, as if they like operate as a single unit.
Yeah.
It's the same. Is it the same twins as T2?
Yep.
Yeah. Security guards.
I feel like I vaguely remember that Vegetable Gremlin was possibly one of the harder bosses in the Gremlins 2 video game.
That was for NES, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know I played it. I just have no memory of it. I have to like watch a YouTube video. He gives the
Yeah.
finger too right there.
Except they only
a
have
couple different gremlins do that because their index finger is so long.
Yeah, they only have 3 fingers to. Odds are one of them is going to be sticking out.
This scientist guy with the glasses reminds me of Howie Mandel. I keep thinking it is Howie Mandel.
Howie
Well,
Mandel
Howie
is
Mandel
in this movie.
voices
I know.
Gizmo. Yeah. When I found that out, like as an adult, it blew my mind.
Yep.
I can't believe he needs glasses after getting his brain enlarged.
I love how he just has glasses all of a
just
sudden.
appear.
Yeah, that's like
Did he
the
grow them?
the amount of gremlin-sized clothing in this movie that just randomly pops up and appears on them. Like the guy who's running the elevator, who's got like a tiny gremlin
hard
hard hat,
hat.
and tiny gremlin cut off, denim shirt.
Oh, this bat sequence is great. Yeah, this effect is not great, but you get the point.
Yeah, it's it's like stop motion and
The last
a weird,
time I saw somebody grow bat wings, it looked exactly like that.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Last Thursday.
Yeah, I mean,
I like the look of the bat gremlin.
See, once it's a puppet, it looks good.
Yeah.
Bring puppets back.
Yeah, genetic sunblock.
you know, if he had just injected all of them with this,
I know. That's why I
Yeah,
don't
that
get
is
why
a
he
bit of a-
inject.
yeah,
He
a
should
whole
have
different
injected
movie.
himself. That would be the first thing I do. It's like on the airplane. Like you got to make sure you're safe before you can save anyone else.
they're I think
Exactly like that.
I think in general, like they're scared of needles. Though
Mm.
he's just he's not scared to needle the other one.
Mm-hmm. The bat gremlin has kind of a bat-looking face,
Yeah, it does.
like a more bat-type like nose. And,
Its chin isn't as pointy.
yeah.
It's the subtle differences.
Little things.
I just can't stress enough how good the puppetry and everything, all the effects in this movie look. It's like a bygone era. I really like miss practice. Like think about like there's no fucking CGI in this movie, none.
Yeah. Dante's kind of the king of it, honestly. Because even his Twilight Zone short, that
Mhm.
puppet's incredible. Small Soldiers.
Yeah, but Small Soldiers is more into the CGI.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of that augmenting it, but But they do a lot of it practically too, though. You can tell.
Perfect Batman logo.
Like perfect.
And this is where we bring the Futtermans back into things.
Duh,
It's funny how
Futtermans.
this guy busts out of the building. He's immune to sunlight. He can do anything he wants. He can go like jump in a fountain and make a bunch of other bat gremlins. And yet instead he focuses on attacking the one guy that actually knows what he is and wants to kill him.
And
That
has
makes
dealt
sense.
with them before. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how much of, like, I feel like oh God, not to get too much into the science of these gremlins, but I feel like they've got a lot of inherited intelligence. Like, I feel like they know everything from previous generations.
Does Gizmo like pass on all of those?
I think like they recognize elements of, because also they would just know so much about pop culture and, you know, other like song lyrics and things like that. They just know a lot of things. And it's clear that it's, you know, they know it from birth.
I love when they just cut to, they're in like the stock exchange and they cut to two gremlins on the phone and they're like, buy, sell, buy, sell.
Oh, it's about to be the Flasher Gremlin, right?
Oh, I love they bring the flasher back.
Yeah,
that's
it doesn't
another-
make sense. They don't have anything.
Oh, there's the guy who's not moving.
Yeah,
See?
right. It's so center frame. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like they have gremlins that are basically were gremlins from the first one that are back in this one, even though the gremlins from the first one were killed. So there has to be some kind of like genetic, you know,
like he's got a cigarette.
Yeah.
Like his kind of
reincarnation.
yeah.
She gives him a really solid kick.
I used to think that Brainiac Gremlin was Spike, and then he's actually Spire Gremlin.
Fire, the untamed element, oldest of
Oldest
man's
of
mysteries, giver of warmth, destroyer of forests.
Right now, this building is on fire.
Yeah, are these apartments? Or are they
Or
offices?
like, yeah, maybe they're like,
Their offices, so you can see
small-
like a name on
yeah.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it does feel like apartments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, God, every scene after the other is just great.
Futtermans. I really feel like Futterman gives a stronger performance in this one than
I
in
agree.
This one.
He's in it more.
Yeah.
He's kind of like an old, like grumpy fuddy-duddy in the first one. In this, he kind of has a lot of redemption.
Yeah, he's just some kind of crazy old racist in the first one.
Yeah. Doesn't he start out with something like, he's like, oh, the cab driver was Russian.
Yeah.
What if somebody had nuclear secrets on them?
And how much you want to bet that in the original script that was not Russian? Like they were like, well, this is a little too racist. What's a kind of a less ethnic person we can have in there? Oh, how about Russians?
Let's make it a Cold War thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Bat Gremlin had just decided not to attack Futterman and had just gone
Gone to the Atlantic.
Yeah.
To me, this is like,
Go in the Hudson River.
this whole thing is just
No, it's
set
got to
up.
be water, like
Oh,
not garbage.
Not dead people.
This part of the this part of the plot seems reverse engineered to like, oh yeah, a gremlin kind of looks like a gargoyle. Maybe we should make a gargoyle gremlin, and then like, oh yeah, that should be its death. It should become a gargoyle, and then they like work their way
Totally.
backwards.
You think this is the only part of the plot that worked like that? I feel like that's probably what they were doing for. I really think the Key and Peele sketch is probably much closer to the actual creative process for this movie than anybody wants to admit.
I was just going to say, much like the Key and Peele sketch, I feel like the effects people sat in a circle and went around and they said, well, what kind of gremlins
That's
can we make?
absolutely what happened.
Yeah.
What can we do that we didn't do before?
Oh, Gizmo.
What
I
about
hate
one
when
that's made of vegetables? They all just stare at him and then immediately
They're like,
start
yes.
cracking up.
Yeah, they're like, yes, it's in the movie.
Fucking zoo.
Yeah, there's like
That was a
camels.
camel?
Oh my God.
Apparently, they wanted to have a cow hamster hybrid that was running on a treadmill in the lab, but they couldn't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, what does that even look like?
What?
That's great.
Oh,
much
here we go.
cocaine
The,
was
the film's about
taken
to
before
break.
that idea came out?
Did you guys read that the film breaking effect was changed when this came out on video?
Yeah,
to like,
Yeah, and I've
The
never seen that
videotape,
version.
yeah.
I was
but if you
interested
buy it
in
on Blu-ray, they have it as a special feature. You
Yeah,
can-
apparently they changed it to
What it looks like when a VHS gets eaten.
well, yeah, but then the Gremlins start changing the channel.
Oh yeah.
So they change it to like different shows, and then they change it to a John Wayne movie, and John Wayne tells them to get the movie back on, or he'll
Oh, it doesn't even have.
Or doesn't
Hulk
have
Hogan?
Hulk?
Doesn't have Hulk Hogan. No.
Oh, the Hulkster?
Hulkster is not gonna be
Cut.
happy about that,
Yeah.
brother.
Well,
And
you
John,
you
it's
take it
not
up
even
with
really
Wayne.
John Wayne, right?
It's a clip of John Wayne, but it's a voice actor dubbing a voice.
They did the Forrest Gump effect.
Right.
And Lincoln was in the.
Forrest Gump. Sounds like Beavis.
Yeah,
It does. You're right.
Lincoln, Beavis Lincoln.
Yeah.
There's a movie right there.
Did Mike Judge? Did he just steal from this? That's where that's the genesis of it was.
If I meet Mike Judge, that's my pitch.
I feel like I was.
Beavis
I must have been like
Lincoln.
12 when this came out, and
This woman's from the first movie.
this.
Paul Bartel, right? I think.
Oh, that's Paul Bartel. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I was gonna say this. This is kind of a lot of this movie is goofy and stupid, but when you're 12 years old, it really worked for me.
Totally. This woman
yeah,
goes up
perfect
to
age,
the mean old lady in the first movie.
Oh, she's Mrs. Harris.
Yes.
Wait, she's the homeless woman?
She went to Paris.
She's not. She's not homeless, Colin. She's got a home.
She's just Poe.
Oh, she's just poor. Okay, got it. Yeah. Hulkster.
He calls him Hulkster, right?
I think he calls
Mr.
him
Your
like
Mouth.
He calls himself Hulkster.
Yeah,
Terry.
yeah. I mean, it's a good thing he ripped his shirt off because like he wouldn't be like really doing this if he didn't rip the shirt.
Yeah, he goes full Hogan in this. Like, this is the kind of cameo that you really want.
Yeah,
The Gremsters.
He's like, I will come up there and watch you fuck my wife.
Jesus.
and then take you to court for it.
I didn't know we were gonna go.
As a child, apparently, I met Hulk Hogan at a restaurant.
Apparently.
my parents. There's a famous story. My parents always tell me where they took me out to a restaurant they loved, and he was there, and he had his baby with him as well, and he's like, "Hey, you got a good baby there." I was like 1 year old.
It looks delicious.
For the salad bar.
He just starts putting ketchup on you.
What's
Sir, please stop.
His children are like infamous for something too, right? Like, what didn't one of them like?
For being the spawn of Hulk Hogan, right?
No, like
Yeah.
like for,
They're gremlins. He went into some water one day.
Yep.
They came out
I forgot. I don't know. We're not here to.
to litigate the Hulk Hogan
Yeah, we're not
family.
here. We're not here to nitpick the.
But this is before he ever turned heel.
yeah.
So he was just all-American wrestler Hulk Hogan, who probably, we should do his top four, although I'm sure it's
Let's
very
do it.
easy.
Let's do
I'm
it.
ready.
Yeah.
It's
Royal
about-
Rumble
it's about that
14.
It's the moment we've all been waiting
I'll
for.
cue it up, brother.
Yeah, I'm sure we've done it before. We probably did it for, I won't say which movie we probably did it for.
Ooh.
You might be right. I think we did do
I'm
it
sure we
before.
did it for that. But
I'm gonna.
I don't think we were doing top four at the time.
uh,
I think that was before that.
We might have just named the other movies he was in.
All right. Well, let's go. I'm
all
ready.
right, guest goes first.
Oh fuck.
I feel like there's an easy one on the table for you.
I mean, Gremlins 2, the new batch.
Gremlins 2, the new batch is
Okay.
correct.
That is correct.
All right, I'm going to say
Appearing as Hulk Hogan.
Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando is correct.
Wow, you didn't go with the easy one, which
correct.
would have been
Shep Ramsey.
Rocky 3.
Rocky 3 is correct.
Oh my
That
god.
is correct.
That's his character's name of that.
Yeah, Rocky 3 is Thunderlips.
Mr. Nanny?
Mr. Nanny is incorrect.
Oh,
Damn it. That
his
was
starring role.
Oh, wow. All right, so that's the only other one I knew.
Yeah.
No Holds Barred?
No Holds Barred is correct.
Yeah.
nice.
That
is
is
Hulk Hogan
correct.
Top four. No
Yeah.
Holds Barred, Suburban Commando, Rocky 3, and of course, Gremlins 2, the new batch.
And if you throw Mr. Nanny in there, that is every movie he ever made. I mean, he probably was in other things, but there's nothing else. Those were the only 5 that could have been in his top 4.
Which is funny because he's a cameo in this, but he stars in Mr. Nanny.
Yeah.
So I feel like that should be in his top 4. It makes no sense.
Sure.
Matt, do you know what TV series he appeared in for one episode in 2019?
TMZ.
2019.
I feel like Matt should know this, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe this was...
I don't know. What is it?
The answer is the Goldbergs.
I was going to say, is this something Matt worked on?
I'm like, yeah, why is this associated with me? I'm like, what do I watch that Colin knows that I watch?
You didn't edit that episode, or
No, in fact,
2019 was
I
before?
mean, there was 10 seasons of that show. I worked on one season, so it's very
that was
likely
like
that I missed that
it was
one.
a hit or miss kind of.
He replaced Jeff Garlin, right?
I'm your dad now. Oh yeah, I hate that Christopher Lee dies.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
evil.
I forgot about that.
I
But
like
he had
that he
reformed.
dies by electricity, though.
That's a
yeah,
pretty
his
sweet
death
death.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the better deaths in the movie.
I think all the deaths are pretty cool.
And now they have assault weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This gremlin cannot shoot though.
Yeah,
You should
he's-
have easily got Billy or Danny or whatever you want to call
It's like the grunts in Die Hard, you know?
him. Yeah.
I love this gag right here when
When he drinks the milk and it comes out of him.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cartoony.
yeah, right here.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't call it milk. It's probably like some sort of chemical or something. But
Oh, well,
and then he laughs.
It's probably a base.
yeah. Alkaline. Oh yeah. Here we go. Gizmo's redemption starts.
To survive.
Yeah,
You
not a
gotta
big
become
not a big Gizmo movie thus far. He's like always locked up or held hostage or whatever. He really only has this one moment where he gets to be Rambo.
Then
And
putting
It's the ropes, yeah.
when he starts untying himself and they put in the voiceover of Rambo saying you got to become war.
Yeah.
It's really clutch.
This sort of wall right here with TVs in it and stuff kind of reminds me of RoboCop. Doesn't this
Yeah.
feel like the
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a RoboCopiness to the clamp.
The gray palette, yeah.
yeah.
OCP. Is that,
Oh yeah,
Right.
OCP.
yeah, it's got an OCP vibe.
Who goes there? Oh wait, that's Small Soldiers.
Freeze, dirtbag.
The bow and flaming arrow that Gizmo creates is not fireable. That is movie magic. There's no way that a
Shut up.
that a
Shut up! I hate you.
there is no way that a paperclip and a rubber band could fire a full size pencil with a bottle on the end of it.
It's a whiteout bottle.
Yeah, it wouldn't go anywhere.
What did he put in the whiteout bottle to make it explode like that?
Why not? It's probably flammable.
Whiteout, but like that.
I would not be
flammable?
surprised.
Do you have any whiteout?
Why not?
I had to give it up. I was eating it.
Colin shows up with like his lips are all white. There's white on his nostrils.
No, don't eat whiteout, kids.
Got a bad whiteout habit,
Fucking disgusting. I can't believe.
but
it.
it'll get you high.
You know what was good when whiteout came out with the pins? You know, you could just draw the whiteout on. That was smart.
Too smart. Yeah, the
When are we gonna
spider
do-
spider gremlin's cool. I feel like they don't utilize the spider gremlin enough. But
It's in the best part of the movie, though.
yeah.
Because the Spider Gremlin shows up. That's the part that you like, right?
No, because that's when Gizmo gets his.
Oh,
Rambo
sure.
moment.
The Rambo, yeah.
Also, I feel like I have Matt will understand what, because we've talked about this before. I've got a problem with Mohawk is like the lead gremlin, the lead bad guy gremlin.
He dies too early.
He dies too early.
Yeah, I hate that too.
He turns into a spider and he gets killed by Gizmo, and then they still have all this fighting to do, and Brainiac Gremlin kind of takes over as the lead gremlin and is the last one to die, which I guess kind of makes sense, but I think they should have made Mohawk the
Brainiac
Brainiac,
Gremlin,
yeah,
yeah.
instead of the spider.
I think you're being a little presumptuous. I think Brainiac Gremlin was always supposed to be the leader. I think
No, until he drank that brain juice, he was just some guy.
well,
But he had the wit to drink.
But he was always gonna drink the.
They were just drinking random shit. He got lucky. The genetic lottery there of just like random chance.
They just do a great job of like simply explaining what the electric gremlin is in the phone and the clamp is like, they're electric now, and he's like, or they come in electric too, and Billy's like, yeah, they do now.
They come in electric too.
Yeah. And he's just in the phone and like, you get it, audience.
Yeah, he's on hold, and it's like it doesn't make any fucking sense. But at least
He's on hold.
yeah. But at least they explain the thing that doesn't make any sense.
We hope you've enjoyed life.
When Clamp puts on the end of the world video, his whole posture is just so.
Yeah.
Look at the
good.
atmos around him. There's just like smoke coming out everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's tearing up at the beauty of the.
the bald eagles.
Yeah.
like
The
mountains.
American flag.
Yeah.
I also love too that like, you know, classic movie trope thing where like they set up the third act plan. They're gonna like hang up this big curtain, you know, that looks like it's nighttime, and this is how we're gonna get them. We're gonna drop it in the sunlight, and then of course that doesn't happen. It's foiled, you know.
Yeah, like screenwriting 101.
Yeah,
they,
like
big
you set
plan
the
falls
audience
apart.
up like for the thing that's not gonna happen.
Yep. Let's talk for a moment about Zach Galligan, because I definitely like he's so blah. He's a very bland actor.
Yeah.
And he's got kind of a forgettable, like he's handsome-ish, but he's not like you know, he's not going to turn any heads. And he seems like a nice guy. He's got this kind of down home, good old boy charm. But we've seen him in 2 movies now, and the truth is, he's not a bad actor. Like I never don't buy him.
Right.
And you would
He's
think,
doing the job.
Yeah, and you would think if you're in a couple of movies that were kind of really high profile, you'd think he'd have some kind of career. Like it's kind of amazing to me that he couldn't parlay this into even. I mean, I'm sure he's had like steady work or something. I think he's still an actor, but I just think it's fascinating that he really. This is it for him. Is like 2 Gremlins movies was kind of the only substantial footprint of his career.
He's not in anything else.
No, he's in other stuff, but he's just like nothing. That
feels like he would have gotten like a sitcom.
You'd think he would have been a TV regular, like on Law and Order or something for you know, or one of the CSIs. You think he's like an okay actor who is a good looking guy. You would think who was in a couple of huge movies. You would think that would be enough for a career. You know
what? Well, what I was gonna say is like there are good actors that have no range and like that really you know they just can't do anything else besides what they do.
He looks completely different now.
But just being competent and famous is usually enough to get you, you know.
I think it's it's partially the part here though, because he is written as such like a type, you know, but like he has to be the center of both these movies. He has to be this sort of calm, as chaotic as the surrounding elements are, he has to be like the calm center of it all.
But if you explain to me what his career was, I would have expected him to be like cringy every time he opens his mouth. Because we watched some movies where it's like there's some actor, especially some actor who's cast when he's young and is kind of discovered and then has to subsequently go in for the sequel, and it's like, oh man, geez, you're just hanging on for dear life every time you try to get this guy to like carry a scene or just, you know.
Yeah.
He is in a lot of garbage.
like Ralph Macchio, except
he's very similar.
But he's taller. He's a little more handsome. He's like a whiter, better looking Ralph Macchio.
Yeah,
and
Ralph Macchio, you might say.
Yeah, and you would think that would be enough because God knows Ralph Macchio parlayed being the Karate Kid into a decent career, and he's not really much better than competent in most things. You know,
no. I think he has a little bit more of a chip in his shoulder though in those movies.
He does have a little more to play. He does have a little more range, and he was working from a younger age. He was in whatever it is, The Outsiders, and a couple other things. So Ralph Macchio is definitely a better actor, but not substantially to the point where I'd be like, well, this is why this guy succeeded and this guy failed.
Right.
And I mean, it's not like Ralph Macchio didn't have his times of struggle as well, but
Zach Galligan was in an episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, really? What's his character? Can I see it?
Ensign David Gentry.
Ensign David Gentry.
One episode in 1998.
What's the episode called?
In the Flesh. Originally aired November 4th, 1998.
What is some of the other trash he's been in?
God, like so much. A lot of TV.
Any hilarious names of anything? We're not dealing with like a Scott Shaw thing, are we? Where we got like the Mutants of Frog Village or whatever.
I don't know if that is the level that we're dealing with here. I'm trying to find like something.
He was in those horror. He was in a couple of horror movies, right? He was in.
He was in a Tales from the Crypt episode right around this time. Warlock, the Armageddon. Okay.
Oh man.
For Love and Glory.
That Voyager episode's pretty good. You guys want to hear about it?
Melrose Place. He's in Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth.
Oh wow.
He plays boiler room patron getting stabbed with pool stick.
Oh, see, that makes me
literally
sad.
what he's credited.
That makes me sad.
Wow. How many years removed from that was that?
That came out
in between
the year after this movie.
Oh my god. Really interesting. Yeah, that's. It feels like that should not have been. He should have been better than that. He should have been like, no, I need a character name in this if we're gonna do a fucking Hellraiser movie.
Maybe bad management.
Maybe what he was saying at the time was like, I want to keep being an actor, but I don't want to be a lead or a star.
Yeah, I don't need to be
which
front
is
and
like,
center.
I don't know who says that, but that is something somebody.
I'm
could
just
say.
more comfortable in the background. Maybe he was just like. Maybe he's an asshole. Maybe he just goes into every audition and he's like, "Oh look, a bunch of Jews. You guys do control Hollywood. Can I have the part?"
Wow.
His career is really baffling. Before Gremlins, he's just in like an ABC after-school special. So he was literally
they kind of
like,
discovered him
plucked
for
from
that,
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then he was in a movie called Nothing Lasts Forever, and never heard of it. A movie called Surviving with I think this is Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, we talked about that briefly last time.
Yeah, which seems like a
It's like one of Molly Ringwald's misses in that era.
right.
Is the police? not
Oh yeah,
captain,
this guy's been in everything. Yeah.
Ace
Oh
Ventura.
yeah, that guy Ace Ventura. Yeah. Roger Predactor. I love that movie. That's an excellent two for next time.
Isn't there a
Um,
third one? Like Ace Ventura Kid Detective? or
Yeah, I
something?
think it was
There's
like
a TV
straight,
series.
Oh, it was a TV series. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think all three of the big Jim Carrey 1994 movies had animated
Cartoons,
series.
yeah. You're right. He's in that movie Waxwork we talked about. That's like a B-level horror movie. Yeah, nothing. Mortal Passions. What is that?
Mortal Passion. That's a sequel to Mortal Kombat.
Did he do any full frontal nudity in any of his movies? I feel like he's got the kind of career where he probably did.
He just does like B garbage
Billy,
on
Danny.
TV. And then as you get later in his career, like, you know, in the last few
Billy
years,
Zach.
he's done like raw, seething, pure garbage. Just like the worst.
Thought you were going a different direction there.
Yeah, I was like,
But he's in the new Gremlins Secrets of the Mogwai. He does a voice
Oh,
on that.
fantastic.
Does the voice of Danny?
So he's back. Yeah, as Danny. He doesn't even play Billy.
His last name is Boy, right? Danny Boy.
We recast Billy, but you can play Danny. There's no lines.
Well, what happened to Billy? Billy's dead. we had to kill Billy.
I think this conversation is pretty funny too, where it's like Phoebe Cates finds the secretary that was chasing her man. Actually, not secretary. I
she's
shouldn't
not a
say that.
secretary.
His boss,
She
yeah.
has a
Yeah.
real job.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, secretary is a real job.
I forget because every secretary in this movie is also a redheaded woman. So
She has such a strange accent too. It's not quite a New York accent.
kind of made up.
Yeah, I think it's made up.
That's my favorite part, though.
It's like over the
so
top.
thick.
Yeah,
It's from
it's like,
Cartoonville.
yeah, it's like the accentuated New York accent, but also not a very good one.
Like she built her career like at auditions, like telling them that she could do a New York accent, and they're like, "Cool, let's hear it." And she does it, and they're like, "Yeah, that's
Which part of New York is that from?
I didn't know you meant like Dutch New York, like old New York.
The 5 points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of her now that I know it's the Fifth Element too. I just think of what does she always say? Corbin Deary.
Corbin Deer." Yeah, I can't even do it.
Call
Yeah,
you
well,
mother.
in that sense, the accent got a little better because that one
Yeah.
isn't as bad.
No, I always spot that out in Fifth Element.
You
I'm like,
couldn't call me until you won a contest.
I thought Matt was gonna say like that sounds exactly like someone he knew before or something.
No, no, definitely not.
It's like super accurate to him.
Gizmo's had enough of this shit.
I like how that everyone that has to cut spiderwebs too is using a tiny tool. Phoebe Cates is using like her fingernail clippers.
Why wouldn't she use the knife on
And-
the Swiss Army knife?
And then what's his name comes in with like a penknife and he's like just slashing it with this little tiny penknife.
I love that.
Rambo Gizmo is so cool.
Right after he kills him, they're like, "I guess they just pushed him too far."
Yeah.
Died. I was dying.
Deadpan seriousness.
I guess they just pushed him too far, and they the shot of Gizmo with the big cute eyes. Is so
But that's like the tagline for Rambo, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
They pushed him
Too far.
oh my god.
Oh man.
This is my favorite part of the movie. The spider gremlin, yeah, I guess they just pushed him too far.
And then the
puppet's
lip,
eyes and his lips.
the lip, yeah.
And the way it's lit with like the fire on his face as he stares into the face. And it's
And
burning
there's no
enemies.
one else in the shot. It's just Gizmo. Don't mention Lincoln. Something terrible happened to me one year.
Now,
on
do you
Lincoln's
get what
birthday.
she's saying about this Lincoln's birthday thing? Where she
It seems like something really
it
bad.
seems like something really terrible happened to her. She's talking about some guy in the park who's trying to like get her to come with him when she's 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
And
God.
I never noticed that this is like basically she's doing her like child molestation story, and he's like, "Honey, we don't really have time for this."
He said, "Hello, little girl."
Shrug.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like at this point, the Gremlins are doing New Year's Eve, and Brainiac Gremlin is Sinatra, right?
Yeah.
Singing New York, New York, of course.
Yeah.
This shot's incredible.
Yeah, and the musical number's pretty good too, honestly.
You talk about inherited knowledge. How does Brainiac Gremlin actually know that they're in New York at all? They've never left the building.
Well, and he makes a bunch of comments when they're interviewing him about like how none of us have been to New York City before, so we don't really know how to get tickets to a Broadway show.
Yeah.
I hear the streets are full of crime, but I think it's free to see that, so we're okay there.
It's free to see that. The city's so nice they named it twice is one of his lines.
Yeah. This is the part of the movie where you just marvel at the effects work, like how many puppets they have.
It's like,
I'm always kind of looking in the background to see if like there's puppets that look shittier, but they're not. They all look good.
Except
it's
for
like
that one
400 or
hanging
500
guy.
puppets. Oh my god, the musical number where they like, that's incredible.
Yeah, and then she comes out of the eye.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Oh yeah. Oh, like it's not even like it's
Like when did they have time to paint these panels? Yeah.
Yep, it's pretty impressive.
Oh my god.
There's
Imagine
like
working
thousands
on
of
that.
other gremlins that are just working in the background only on this stuff.
Yeah, like what motivates a gremlin to do what it does,
They're all about fun, really, I think.
Yeah. I mean, would the world really be ruined if they got out of this?
Yeah, like I feel like they can't just cause nothing but chaos and death. I feel like it's like a balance of chaos and death and fun.
Where'd
Why
they
are
get
there
all these
military
weapons?
weapons?
Yeah. Bazooka.
Bazooka missiles and cutting it open with a chainsaw.
It's just you can see why this movie is now considered like a classic, like a niche. What am I looking for? A cult classic.
Yeah.
It's been reclaimed.
Because of all the brilliance.
Why were there weapons in the building? It's never explained.
Why is there anything in the building? Why is there a
Mr.
fucking
Clamp,
zoo in the building?
What do you have to say for yourself?
I mean, he just rents out to whatever tenants pay him. So, arms dealers, mad scientists.
Oh, Dining After Midnight in New York, classic. Oh yeah, one of them takes a Polaroid of another one and just like fries it to death.
Oh, I love that. It just like turns into a skeleton.
So funny.
Some of them are so funny looking.
Oh,
He's giving them a
he
Warner
tattoos
Brothers
the Warner
tattoo.
Brothers logo.
Oh, here you go, right here.
Oh my god, the Phantom of the Opera gremlin. I forgot. I love Phantom of the Opera gremlin. We should have made a list of all the like obscure and like weird gremlins and tried to rank them, but
Yeah, we weren't thinking.
whatever.
Yep. This one's giving the finger as well. There you go.
Yeah.
That just looks menacing.
Phantom of the Opera gremlin is great.
This is kind of where I always like look away and then I turn back and the movie's over. I'm like, what the fuck? I feel like they wrap it up very quickly.
Yeah, the conclusion is not as climactic as the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just kind of like it doesn't. I did feel like watching it. It didn't have that much narrative momentum in a lot of places. Like it actually felt a little slow because it is just sort of gags that are. It's like sight gags that are carrying it.
Yeah.
Which is part of just it being a goofier comedy rather than kind of a little bit of a horror thriller type of thing.
I couldn't really put it into words, but earlier when you were talking about what you don't like about this movie, I think it's that like the way it loses momentum because it's just a lot of sight gags. I think that might be my.
Yeah, like I love all the sight gags,
Yeah.
but I don't really care at some point, and I start checking my watch, which is not a good sign for a movie. even though I'm like enjoying it, but I'm also like, okay, come on, can we just get to the next funny thing that I want to see?
At some point, it's like it like goes towards like being sketches instead of a story, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think Harris is onto something too, that they kind of switched the events of the first movie where they all get blown up in a movie theater, but then they have to kill that last gremlin that threatens to like do it all over again. Here they should have done the same thing. They should have annihilated all these guys with the electricity, and then the spider one or the bat one or something is still alive, and maybe it takes it out of the building and tries to go towards water or something.
They could do the gag where like Billy and what's her name get home with Gizmo, and then there's a gremlin waiting for them.
Yeah, exactly. The one you forgot about from the beginning or something. Yeah. Definitely that probably would have felt a little more rewarding, and just just in general, it's a lot of they were prioritizing, I think, the gags over the plot, which is fine, but it makes the rewatchability a little kind of a drag. Yeah, because like the main baddie, although you're right, they do kind of turn Brainiac into the main baddie a little bit.
But they don't really fight him. They just sort of kill all the gremlins.
Yeah, he's too lovable. He's not like you don't fear him.
He just you actually kind of want to befriend him.
You want to befriend him.
The interview part where like he like murders that other gremlin in the middle of the interview.
But that was another gremlin.
Casually.
He's smart enough not to murder his interviewer.
I get. I mean, like it was very similar to that like scene in Joker when he like kills Robert De Niro or whatever.
Yeah, but see that was dumb because then the interview's over. The Brainiac gremlin's smart. Gizmo's fingernails are kind of nasty. Just throwing it out there.
The melting looks awesome too.
Yeah, the melting looks good.
What do you mean his fingernails are nasty?
They're nasty.
Like unclean, or
they're like a little. They're like a little yellow, and they need to be like trimmed and filed a little bit.
What a world! What a world!
Yep.
Yeah, so that gremlin put on a witch hat and knew that it
just
had
to be killed.
just to be killed and say the line from the Wizard of Oz. Right, that's Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that just looks so good.
Oh, so gooey.
That's he's still smoking a cigarette. New York.
This one's great.
And then the electricity one just kind of like dies too.
Mm-hmm. We do. I mean, we do kind of have the last gremlin standing. That's a surprise gremlin, but it's just the gag of the sexual predator lady gremlin,
right?
Oh yeah, that is
who is in a bathroom and could easily multiply.
Yeah,
I think
there's your sequel.
I think that's
there.
the implication.
Yeah.
Or she's going to multiply the old-fashioned way, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I think maybe a little column A, a little column B.
I love how Clamp is now part of the SWAT team.
Oh yeah, they gave him a SWAT gear,
First in line,
and a gun, right? He has a gun too.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically like if this situation happened with Elon Musk, they would be like, yeah, sure, we'll let you suit up with a SWAT team. Like, how many billions would it cost?
Yeah, because I mean, like, are they actually NYPD or are they like a private?
They might just be the Clamp Squad.
They're a militia.
You're gonna clamp down.
Well, like you're that rich, you hire private security guys.
I do like that they didn't go it would be easy to make Clamp the villain, and they kind of were a little more creative with like he's like kind of a cartoonish character, and definitely not like admirable, but also he does try to help. And
He's like inept. He's like
I feel like that's like 80s optimism. He's like symbolic.
Definitely, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
He also kind of has like one of the better arcs because of that in a way.
I love his shoes.
Yeah, I feel like he changes for the better because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he falls in love with Marla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it all comes full circle.
And she quits smoking.
Yeah, maybe, probably.
Yeah, they sort of tie it all together right at the end there.
You work for me, don't you? Yes.
Somehow I never noticed you before. But now that your hair is down,
yeah. Now that you're all sexed up, covered in cobwebs.
It's not just that. It's after the thrill of killing a gremlin. You know, like I'm really living now. Now I see people. Now I
a little bit of violence. I'm rock hard.
I wasn't trying to say that.
It was implied.
I mean, this movie. Well, I mean, it's got it all. It's an American classic. What can I say?
It is.
Should we start giving our final thoughts here?
You said this is hands down the best movie about New York City you've ever seen.
It's the most accurate.
This encapsulates my entire New York experience in every way.
My childhood, everything.
Matt was raised in the Clamp building. Matt was raised under constant threat of gremlin attack.
I love they're scraping up the goo in the background. Oh my god.
Okay.
You know what's another great gooey movie? Have you guys ever seen The Blob, the one from 1988?
Oh,
yeah.
amazing. The gooeyest.
I'm not
It
sure.
is quite gooey.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's sick.
It's
It's like
5 million times better than the original movie.
yeah.
Because the blob's made of goo, right?
Yeah, he's pure goo. You
And
might
he's-
say
and he's
he
pink,
is
too.
entirely consistent.
I don't know why
with
we're
goo.
calling it he. Why are we ascribing sexuality to
They them.
Did I say he? I thought I said the blob is.
Maybe I did.
Oh, you
I fucked it up.
You're the one who did it.
No, I think you said the blob. He's made of goo, right?
He's made out of goo.
Yeah, he's made of goo.
You're doing your offensive Italian, as you often do at the end of episodes.
Hey, it's New York.
Hey.
I'm driving here.
Yeah.
The blob, he's made of goo. Okay, well, I'm gonna give him my dolphin rating if you don't mind.
Very good.
Yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say about this movie. It's really funny. It's very great. It's very smart. It is,
And I hated it.
and it drags a little bit, and it doesn't. A lot of things are kind of too silly, and I don't know. It's a really good movie. It's a great sequel, but it's got its flaws. I will give it 6 Timothy Dolphins.
Amazing.
I love
Amazing
that
score.
when Clamp finally meets Gizmo, he says all the things that they wanted to merchandise Gizmo as. He's like, "Oh, I see suction cups on a
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, and
Wanted
he's
to. That already happened.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
yeah.
And the Macy's Day Parade thing. I think
Yep.
that probably had already
He's
happened.
an industrialist.
When I heard that line about the suction cups, my immediate thought was, "Ooh, I need to go on Amazon and see if that exists."
Get one. I bet there are some. eBay.
Josh, do you want to give us your score? Your
Sure.
Timothy
I mean,
Dolphin score.
I'm a child
10.
of heart, and for that matter, I would give this probably 8.1 Timothy Dolphins.
8.1.
8.1.
Don't you forget that.
It is one of the better. Think about how few sequels, especially to comedies.
This
or
guy
I
looks
guess
like Woody Harrelson. Sorry.
he does kind of, yeah.
Oh yeah, with a mullet.
Yeah.
There's so few comedy sequels that work, let alone are this good and creative and also are kind of doing their own thing. I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of threw the script out the window and just did what they wanted.
Yeah.
It was-
Yeah.
It's organized chaos, It's it feels like they threw the script out the window, but everything is planned to a T, and it's all about the details in this. We've talked about many times before. Every little detail was thought about, and it's just, this is a masterpiece. I think it's a forgotten masterpiece.
Just a quick question. This security guy, do we think, we saw in the first one Phoebe Cates tending bar to the gremlins because it was the only way to stay alive when threatened by gremlin attack. How far do you think this guy goes?
As far as she wants.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
I
What's the
think-
question?
This gremlin clearly wants to marry him and possibly have intercourse with him. And,
Possibly.
I think probably.
Well, this raises the question: do they have? We've talked about this
Genitalia.
before.
Yeah.
Do they have genitalia? Yeah.
So no, they don't. But I think this one does because this one drank the juice that had.
female.
Did you notice
Yeah.
before too? It's not just the female symbol though. It's the male female. So does that
Yeah.
mean that it just switches your gender? Does it mean that it's a hermaphroditic
No,
gremlin?
it's-
Whoa, that's how far he went.
Yeah, my impression that it was it can give you a gender since they are genderless, but
So whichever had more alleles or whatnot.
yeah,
More chromosomes in one
I'm not
direction or
sure
another.
that the gremlins have DNA per se. They may have something similar, but I know they are an earthly creature.
Jerry goes
Why
with
does
your customer.
why does the credits go Jeopardy?
I was wondering that too, but then later on, Daffy Duck appears, so it's like an animation thing, I think, because he's black. His
Yeah, that's a
coloring.
good point.
Right, yeah.
I didn't know Daffy Duck was black.
I knew you were going to say that.
As themselves, Leonard Maltin, Hulk Hogan, Dick Butkus,
And Bubba Smith. Dick Butkus was in
Dean
this?
Norris was in this, isn't he?
He was one of the SWAT team guys
Hank,
at the
yeah.
end.
Oh, really?
also in T2 as a SWAT guy.
That's crazy. We had Mike Ehrmantraut was in the first Gremlins movie. He's one of the.
Yeah, there you
like,
go. A lot of
small-town
Breaking
cops.
Bad
Oh, there you go.
connections.
Yeah.
So it's 3 Breaking Bad actors all in this movie, all in this franchise.
So if there was a third Gremlins movie, then Giancarlo Esposito would have to be
Yes.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Maybe he will be.
I'm going to give my rating. I love this movie. Upon watching it the other night, definitely as a kid, I loved it for different reasons. But watching it now, I really had an appreciation for what this movie does, and I'm kind of sad that it's like not considered a great movie or up there. I mean, like, to be perfectly honest, even Gremlins 1 is not really like talked about. It's not like in the upper echelon of movies today. Like, I don't think it's considered much of a Doug Vaughn, we know him, production sound guy, teacher from USC. Yeah. Yep. And you know what? Tina Hirsch edited the first movie. She's a professor from USC too. We got those connections, people. Yeah. So anyway, I think this movie's great, and I think that both of these movies need some more credit. And I'm honestly, I said it in the last episode, I'm so surprised that this has not been rebooted today and turned into like the Gremlins cinematic universe. I feel like it's ripe for rebooting. And mark my words, in the next 5 years, I think there will be a new Gremlins joint out there. I gave the first Gremlins a 9. We all gave it a 9. Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, this, I can't love this more or less than the first movie because it's such a different thing. They like, I commend the makers of this movie because they went in a different direction. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like the only fair score I can give it is also a 9 Timothy Dolphins. All right, Colin, you're the last man standing.
Yeah. I'm going to give it 8 Timothy Dolphins. That's nothing to say, I believe. Phoebe Cates did a great job, and I love that part when Gizmo goes Rambo. When you think about it, like, to survive a war, you got to become war.
It's like that old saying goes.
I guess they just pushed
The
it
tale
too
as old as
far.
time.
My parents used to tell me that as a kid.
When you're living in the Clamp building, right?
Yeah. Growing up in the Clamp building.
Whenever I had to battle Gremlins in the lobby.
They're at it again.
That song, when you hear that song, you're triggered.
No, not again.
Start spreading the news. No.
I think some part of me thought that song was like originated from this movie.
Brainiac Gremlin made it up.
Yeah.
On the spot.
Sinatra just ripped him off.
Yeah.
Well, Sinatra ripped off Liza Minnelli. New York, New York.
This movie, more than any other, I wish there was like a 4-hour like behind the scenes documentary that showed how they did everything and
Oh
like
my God,
the
the
writing
VHS must be
process and
incredible.
A lot of sweaty puppeteers in that.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
They just took the sweat and put them on the Gremlins.
Yeah, that's why the Gremlins are so wet.
Well, that's it. That's Gremlins 2. We finished the movie.
All right.
Mr. Josh Kadish, thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was a blast. I watched it once last night. I watched it again with you guys, and it flew by for me.
Oh, and now we're back to Crocodile Dundee.
He's just climbing up off the ledge.
Oh my God.
He's been there for a week, Colin. What are you doing?
New York's just full of characters.
Yeah.
Here's another
Gremlins.
movie that's full of logic.
Crocodile Dundee.
This is like your all-time New York City top 5, right? Gremlins 2, Crocodile Dundee Part 2,
Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze.
2, Secret of the
Secret of the Ooze.
It's all second movies.
Yeah. How many like sequels are like it's in New York now?
Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2. Oh shit, yeah. They're all from like the same era too.
Friday the 13th took a while to get there.
Yeah, that was like Friday the 13th 7 or 8, I think.
Oh yeah, and Scream just did it.
Yep, you're
Yeah.
right.
Die Hard 3.
Die Hard 3.
Yeah.
When he was saying he was from New York the whole time.
He brought New York to the movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Went to the coast.
Josh, do you have any like social media that people can follow you on, or like anything cool that you're working on you want to talk about?
I'm not really on social media these days, honestly.
Right on. Right on.
But
Neither are we.
Yeah.
but I'm currently working on the 3rd season of BMF, and writing stuff on the side. Yeah, nothing particular to plug right now. Just
For
you know,
sure.
life. Go out and live it.
I'd like to plug life. I mean, just go out and live it, you know?
Just do it.
Just do it. Have you seen Air?
Yeah.
I love that bit. He's like, just do it. What did he say? It comes from like a guy in a firing squad. They asked him what his like final words were. Yeah, that's really what.
I'm telling you, Phil Knight told me he wouldn't be bullshitting me.
All right, cool. Colin, it's time for you to announce what our next twofer series is.
Hell yeah.
Why don't you cue it up and you know?
Let me see what year it is. I forgot the year.
You know nothing about this.
I know enough.
I don't even remember.
I feel special that I'm here for this.
Oh yeah, this is an honor. This is an
So you don't know what it is.
No,
do you?
I have no idea.
Great. You're gonna be really
Are
excited.
you gonna play the song? You
Can't
should.
remember. Is
It's
it
a
gonna be
movie
something
from
bad?
1987.
And the
it's-
sequel
Does
is
it feature
from-
the song "Say the Best for Last"?
No, it features a little song by a little band
Oh.
called Jefferson Starship.
Oh, no.
And it's a song about how at this point,
Colin, why don't you ever pick good movies?
nothing is gonna stop us now.
Is this the film Mannequin?
It is. It is the film Mannequin.
Why are you queuing up the song? We can sing this song. We don't need this.
Oh yeah, 1987. You said.
87.
And the sequel, Mannequin 2 on the Move, is from the year 1991. I
Yeah,
think?
something like that.
Yeah.
Didn't they just make it later in 1987 because they were like, let's just keep it rolling?
It's possible that it's from the same year.
Yeah, they were just like, this is so good, such a surefire hit.
The original cut was so long they just cut it into 2 movies. Released them 6 months apart.
We thought about releasing it as part 1 and part 2.
I didn't know this was Starship though, because I remember the video. Isn't it Hollywood Brown is the singer on this one?
I have no idea who these
I
people
thought it
you're
was
talking about.
Hollywood,
video has a bunch
Hollywood
of
Brown is the
clips.
character from the movie Mannequin, and he is also prominently featured in the Starship music video.
Oh wow.
Is Starship Jefferson Starship?
Yes.
Which is derivative of Jefferson Airplane, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
One of the weirdest.
How is it derivative if they've improved the vehicle?
You know what's better than an airplane? A starship.
You're goddamn
And you know what's even better than a Starship? One without Jefferson on it.
Yeah. Who is Jefferson anyway?
We're just getting better and better.
What a weird arc.
Yeah.
But also, like, where do you go from Starship? They kind of just they hit the peak too early.
Yeah, they could just continue shortening it to like Star and then just S.
Ship. People love them.
We love shit.
I ship that.
I mean, once they got going, nothing was going to stop them.
Look at that suit. Damn. All right, we should end the show.
I feel like we could do that at any moment. Just hit unrecord.
Unrecord. Like, it just, all the stuff that was recorded gets erased.
Oh shit, we gotta do the episode.
All right.
Wait, does this guy in Crocodile Dundee 2 have a phone that matches his outfit?
Why not? Yeah. It's the 80s. Why not?
Yeah, I've been telling you, you guys love Crocodile Dundee Part 2, and you don't even know it.
I keep on telling you, it's not as bad as Part 3.
All right. Thank you to our guest, Josh Kadish. Thank you to Chris Morocco for making the beat that we're listening to right now, the remix. Thank you to Joe Dante for making 2 excellent films that we love.
Thank
and
you to me
cherish.
for picking 2 good films.
Thanks
here.
to Harris for picking Gremlins. Once again,
Keeping my streak
I don't
of
know
picking
why he
awesome
picked them.
high-rated movies alive.
he seems to pick movies that he hates. I don't get it. Yeah, and that's it. And then we'll be back next time we'll do our little recap of this twofer, of course, and then we'll be back for Mannequin. a film that I know nothing about. Cue the research. Here we go.